Hey! No. Oh.
You're good.
Hey.
Welcome. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we are. Hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm sorry. I was a fucking clusterfuck.
That was amazing.
Now
I know how to like unintentionally fuck you up. This is great.
Yeah, I fucked myself up though because I kind of just quickly remembered one last thing and then we went live. Hi, everyone. I also just remembered that I needed to unplug my router thing and plug it back in. I can't do that because we're live now, and so hopefully my whole thing doesn't go down, Jay. It might. If I just disappear, I'll be back. But just bear that in mind.
Okay.
God, I'm not streaming this.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live, guys.
Yeah.
Tablestory special.
My internet's doing some weird shit lately. It's weird. Welcome everybody to Tablestory's Just Vale, the official beginning of the end. Truly, as presumably they might not, but presumably they'll go into the Dread Tusk dungeon, the final section of the game today. They might just not. They might just turn around, which is perfectly okay. That won't be the beginning
Side
of the
quests.
well, that won't be the beginning of the end. That will just be the end. That's how you end it. If you just go, no, we go left instead of right. I'll be like, all right. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back soon with another campaign
with a better group.
With a better fucking group.
So I mean,
we'll
you've said repeatedly your whole campaign is just Final Fantasy. Isn't there supposed to be like, you know, you're stuck on rails through 90% of it, and then like right before the end boss, we have to run around and wrap up like 35 side quests, right? So isn't it's side quest time, right?
It's technically you are right there, but it's Final Fantasy as I play it, which is the first time I play it through, I just blitz the story and then I go back and play it again and do all the extra shit.
Right.
So unfortunately,
So we have a new game plus.
You've got New Game Plus coming.
So we're starting the campaign over, but we're starting at level 7.
Actions.
Yeah.
We're going to start at level 7
back?
back in Windy Peaks.
Question:
right?
Do I have to be
Speaking
Kenneth
of level
again?
7,
Yes.
aren't we?
Oh yeah, we're level 8.
Oh, I totally
Yeah,
forgot.
Level
that's right.
shit.
We'll do level up in a second, but I figure we'll just say hi real quick, and then we'll do some New Game Plus setup stuff. Everyone starts in a tux as well, tuxedo.
Do we have like a special hat that shows we beat the game?
Yeah, you get like unlimited ammo beret, and you have all your weapons from the end of the last game. Full inventory.
Nice.
Anyway, how are you all doing? People in the chat and people leaving comments on YouTube. None of the players. I don't care about them. I don't care about them. They're not going to be here for my next campaign. You are. Hey there, chat. Make sure you follow twitch.tv/Tablestory for my follow-up campaign once I'm finally rid of this lot. Or maybe it will be all of this lot again. Who knows? Maybe it really will be a new game. Could you imagine if we just legit did that?
Would I have to be Kenneth
Completely
again?
unironically.
Like
We just did Dust Veil again, but just from the...
would I have to be Kenneth
do
and
differently?
then Strings and then Walter again? But they would all
I wonder
die.
if
in
anyone's
different...
ever done that.
Would we find Strings' grave as I'm playing Strings again?
Do you think anyone's ever done that? Do you think that like people have done that
we'd
with,
probably
like,
be the
modules
first.
and stuff?
Yeah,
Probably, definitely on like Twitch. But I just mean
We
like,
could invent Dungeons and Dragons New Game Plus.
Oh man.
It's never been done.
legitimately almost tempting, but like 2 episodes in, you'd be so fucking bored. You'd be like, oh man, we got to deal with the
And it
fucking
would be-
vampire again.
Oh,
this guy's evil. Kill him.
Well,
Yeah, you'd know exactly who was evil.
Brad would forget everything too. Like he would
That's
go
true,
like,
actually.
"Oh fuck, what was that fucking NPC name?"
Yeah. All my.
Oh yeah.
It would be so poorly done because I would have forgotten everything I did in the early game. So you'd be like, "This guy's evil," and you'd kill him, and I'd be like, "Why'd you kill that guy?" You'd be like, "Well, he's evil. He turns out to be evil." And I'd be like, "Oh, he did, didn't he?"
Oh,
No.
that's
No, that guy was about to give you the orb. You know, like that was Shout.
Oh my god, that'd be so
That was this
fucking
game's shout.
funny.
Fuck my whole game up.
That'd be cool.
Everything that's old is new again.
That would be fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
It'd be very interesting. That would be. We're not gonna do that. We'll see. Maybe one day someone will do it, but I'm not gonna do it. Fucking fuck that. How are you, players? I'm not gonna go around you individually. I just want to know if anyone did anything specifically incredibly amazing this week. If you didn't, no, nothing.
Nope, just
fucking.
I beat Detroit
absolutely.
and started watching the Orville. That's it.
You also Did you watch Detroit or did you beat Detroit? That's the real.
Technically, there's
cares?
gameplay, okay? Technically.
Who cares
there's
about
gameplay.
Detroit Become Human? You guys aren't gonna play Agony?
No. So fuck no.
I heard a
Are
few
you kidding
things
me?
about Agony, and I was like, yeah, I don't even think I'll be watching that.
I tuned in and watched about 15 seconds of it, and that was enough for me to
Yeah.
decide that that's probably not really
Yeah.
on my must-play list.
Yeah.
I took one
I've
look
been
at it
MIA,
and
so
saw
I've
like
seen it.
tits every 5 seconds, and I was like, I don't want to get banned. We're just gonna pass.
Mhm.
Like, that's
I mean, after
okay.
Conan Exiles, I think it's pretty safe to say that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but that's like literally the it's as long as it's not the main focus of the game, but like the main enemy and villain, every time you see her, apparently it's just like a tit shot. So I don't know.
Well, clearly, that's
Or
part of the
whoever
story
that
of the
ch-
game, then.
All right.
No, that's a terrible argument. They had to take out nudity, some of the nudity and gore to not be an R-rated game, and only be like
Damn.
17 plus or whatever the fuck the rating system
They were
is.
probably happy about that because now they can make the claim that it would have been even so much worse.
Right.
Notoriety.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Probably removed one areola from one frame of the game.
She said
We
now
had to
it's
remove so much nudity. Technically, it's true. All right, let's play some D&D. Since we're doing some level up stuff, we'll jump on into it. So, last time, I'm not going to do a wrap up thing previously on last, but we will jump into level up stuff. So level 8 is kind of a boring one, actually, isn't it? Which is a shame. Let's see.
What?
So what I'll do is what I normally do is just hold Tuesday's hand through it, because when we started this, she was a scrub,
Mm-hmm.
and
She's still a scrub.
She's still a scrub.
Mhm.
So what a fucking loser. It's actually quite easy for you. As a rogue at level 8, you just get an ability score improvement.
Okay.
Your proficiency stays the same as a +3, and your sneak attack stays the same at 4d6. So check that they're the same. So you get to put 2 points into one of your thingy scores. Whatever they're called. What are they fucking called?
The ones
Abilities.
below
Ability
the
scores?
saving throws.
They're just called ability scores. I'm just confusing myself because I don't play real D&D. I don't know how to do D&D anymore. I only know how to run like my version of D&D, and I don't actually know how to play the real game anymore. It's literally been about 3 years since I ran a D&D campaign for real.
For real.
Yeah.
Hooray,
so you get
now.
2 points. Lash Izzle. Let's see here. Remember that basically going from an even number to an odd is what will make it go up an actual usable point. So one of your 13s might go to a 14, and then that'll be a +2. Or you could put 2 into something. For example, you somehow are a rogue with
Here we go, boys.
four decks
Mm-hmm.
as an 18. So you could put that up to a +5.
I
So that
think
all
I
of your,
shall. Will
things-
Oh, man.
that'll impact my damage?
You're not on the
Yeah.
20 dex life yet.
No,
Not
but
on
I'm
the
about to
20
be.
dex life.
You
Yeah.
should join that life.
Don't you
it's a
worry
good-
about it. It's
It's a
done.
good life.
That 20 dex life.
You're also
go.
like just some meta. You're also going into like basically a legit dungeon. Like you're going to be playing some real D&D from now on. Like you'll need to be aware of hit dice and short rests and long rests and dex saves from poisonous darts that launch out of walls from pressure plates and shit like that, which is no longer in it. But
Did upping that to 20 impact the rest of the sheet as it needed to, or do I have to link stuff?
it does everything that you have dex attached to. Yeah.
Nice. That's wonderful.
Who else is doing what? What are you doing, Jay?
I don't get shit because I'm a sorcerer level 7, so I just get a 4th level spell.
So you're taking the sorcerer because you multi-classed into warlock.
Yeah, so I just went into warlock for Eldritch Blast. I'm going back into sorcerer up to level 7
You don't get another spell.
for level 7.
Sorcerer?
I get my 4th level spell. Finally, it's my
Oh, okay.
first one. Yeah.
Nice. What'd you take?
Dimension Door.
You fucking stupid bastard. I'd recommend you change. All right, I'll be fine.
Why?
No reason.
No. Listen. What if we need a 500-foot escape above surface, Brad? There's
Yeah.
no other spell that's gonna help.
I can't
Let's
wait till
just
you use that.
say-
Fucking.
I have. All right, I'll be like honest, and I was gonna mention this when we actually went in, but I have stolen a few things, or I'm heavily inspired by the Tomb of Annihilation.
Okay.
from
Oh,
Wizards.
gosh.
Oh fuck.
Why?
For just some
Okay.
parts, because I was like, this is a fucking
Well-
cool dungeon. Like, this is exactly what I need. An old, ancient, fucking horrible, evil dungeon.
Does this mean
And,
if
like-
we've already done Tomb of Annihilation, then we're going to know the answers to all of the puzzles?
Yeah, probably, but not. They're not all stolen. They're just like some of them are inspired, and Tomb of Annihilation has this thing where like if you try and use like Dimension Door, it just you just go to the wrong place.
Fuck! God damn it. Oh my god. Dude, I was so
just-
excited to be able to like
Just
save
saying, because
one
I
of
know you're
us.
going to be excited. It's like one of those things where what I would do if I was you lot at this point is take stuff that is just going to help you in this dungeon specifically, as opposed to taking stuff that would help you for a campaign.
Wow. Yeah.
Because Dimension Door would be useful for the entire campaign, probably up until this specific point.
So you're saying dumping points into persuasion right now, probably not the best.
Oh, you could put points into persuasion. If you want to start persuading people in the dungeon.
Oh.
And
never
when
mind.
the ghost appears, like,
No.
I'm going to consume your soul. You can try and persuade him not to do that, I guess.
Like, please don't.
You guys love to pull swords and ask questions later, but like you could
That's not
always-
even. That's not even really true.
Listen.
I feel like we've done a lot of talking in this campaign.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you do.
This is an
talk.
attack on me. All right, I changed my spell.
What'd you take now?
Polymorph.
All right.
Oh, thank goodness. You skipped polymorph for Dimension Door. I hate you.
I was looking at survival. I already have enough CC. Although polymorph is one of the best CCs. Still, already have enough CC. Nope. Already have enough CC. But
No,
I'll take
I'm
this
really
one.
hoping he just uses it on like Raja and turns him into a cat for a while.
Turn me into a T-Rex.
Turn him into a fucking
That's true,
T-Rex
probably.
and then Dimension Door him into the special place.
Fucking, well,
Into the special place.
You pick between greater invisibility, polymorph, or what's the other one? Wall of Fire. I think those are like the three big must-have fourth level spells.
oh yeah. I wouldn't have taken Wall of Fire. It was polymorph, Dimension Door, or actually Ice Storm because of the difficult terrain. But Brad doesn't really play
Alright.
difficult terrain, so
Well, I mean, if you did lots of difficult terrain stuff, I'd play difficult terrain, but you guys haven't really done it.
yeah.
You can do it. I'm prepared for it.
No, polymorph is a better. That's cool.
Where the feet's at. Where the
All
feet's
right
at.
then. Raja
Ooh.
probably knows what's up. What are you doing?
I am gonna put. I'm gonna take the resilient feat in Constitution. So it's bumps up Constitution by 1 and gain proficiency in con saves.
Nice. Okay. And that's all you get.
Yep, that's
Just
all
an
I'm doing.
ability Score.
I was going to bump it from a 13 to a 14, and I was like, oh, that's gonna, bump my modifier up, and I'm gonna get the proficiency. And then you had freaking what's her face give me a con point, which now goes completely to waste. But hey, you know what? It's there, so I can feel better about it later.
Still advantage on con,
We need
too.
to roll. We need to roll for
Health.
max HP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do your HP rolls as well.
Oh, that's
So
retroactive
Tuesday-
for you too, Jesse, right? Because you get
What's
that.
up?
Is that retroactive for you too, or are you saying that con
That's
point
that's
already
not
applied?
rolling me to an even
Oh,
number.
okay.
I already did that.
Yeah.
I did that back on the episode
Okay,
where,
yeah.
yeah,
Basically, you just roll a hit die.
Yep.
Tuesday, roll a hit
we
die.
got-
And add
Oh,
that.
roll a hit die.
hit die plus con, right?
Your hit die should already have con on it, does it not, on the sheet?
Oh yeah. You're right. Just click the hit die button.
Oh, I didn't do my health.
So I can add 9 to my max.
So your
Wow.
maximum health goes
That's
up.
like the first HP roll I've had that was less than an 8. Feels
Hmm.
bad.
Actually, no, I would use the sorcerer hit die since I'm doing level up in sorcerer. Yeah. Just want to be 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man. My leveling up hit dice have been like 8, 10, 9, 8
Yep.
for the whole campaign,
it's
and
a
I
fucking
finally rolled a low one.
D10 plus 12 too. That's a monster roll.
Connor, what are you doing?
Level 8, the fighter gets 2 ability points. And I put those into dexterity, so that pushes him up to 20.
Welcome
that.
to the 20 Dex life.
The 20 Dex Club.
This is the 20 dex flow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't get anything from Gunslinger though.
Cool. Tenchi.
I'm looking at either a feat or a modifier because I want to try and see if we can grab myself some heavy armor. Because the best heavy armor you got to have 15 strength, which I'm 1 away from. So it might be worth getting one of the feats that drops a point in and gives me something, or honestly adding a point to Constitution would be good because my Constitution is. I think I have the lowest health in the team.
I'll put it this way: there's nowhere to buy a heavy armor.
Yeah, thought so.
The last place, the closest place to this, which had heavy armor available, was destroyed by a massive sandstorm
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Oh, I do
Yeah,
get
sounds about
ability
right.
at level 8.
Tenchi, you get 2 ability points, right? So you can
Oh,
always
yay.
throw 1 in strength and 1 in con, and then if
Yeah.
you find
Well,
heavy
it
armor somewhere.
Doesn't really need to put it into strength if we're not going to have heavy armor this campaign. Not worth it then, because it's already at an even point. And I will never pick a war domain cleric ever again. There is absolutely no reason to ever use my weapon. My cantrips do more damage.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm ever doing really damage anyway. I'm usually trying to do like.
But you
utility
have
or
guided
stuff.
strike, which you're going to remember to give me next time.
The guided strike is
Or,
nice.
I can imbue my own weapons with 1d8 extra divine damage every turn now. So it's too bad I can't do it to you guys though.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hit stuff.
That's like a free paladin smite.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no because it's a war domain
cleric
thing.
is a slippery
It's like a
gray
ramp-up
area
class,
between
yeah.
paladin and cleric.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I still
Anyway.
Maybe instead of maxing wisdom, you should have just maxed strength on your war cleric and just go
Ugh.
ham with giant
Ugh.
mace.
God, like seriously, there's just if I could put 2 more points into wisdom to 22, I would. Because man.
All right. Everyone done HP?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Everyone's done the stuff. Do you get another spell as well, Tenchi?
I'm not sure. I would assume so. Probably like no new spells. My physical handbook is at a friend's house, so I'm looking through PDFs right now.
I'll tell you. Hold on.
Don't forget, Tenchi, on the level up, can't you swap out like every spell, or is it just 1?
I can do it every day. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would have to. I'm gonna have to go through it while we're doing the intro to make sure that everything's proper. I don't even know what kind of dungeon we're going in. So
yeah, you do get more spells. You get a second,
you
4th
get
level
1.
spell.
He gets
not
no, he gets
known,
a
but
second,
cast.
4th. Yeah,
Or
he gets
slot,
a 4th
sorry.
spell slot.
Yeah.
The sheet will do that, but you do get another spell known, so you could take any other spell.
I'm gonna take Dimension Door.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm fully prepared. You guys,
I was so excited for that, dude.
Yeah, that's
I
a
really
cool
was,
spell.
'cause I
I'm
was like-
prepared in a horrible way for 2
didn't
things,
save
and it
someone.
is one of the characters dies early, and then like, what do I do then? And with that, because you can't just roll a new one for the fucking last
Yeah.
episode. And I'm prepared for Dimension Door and all the horrible other things that you can do that just ruin the final dungeon for any DM, which is why I think they did that in Tomb of Annihilation, where they have this list of shit
Oh, that makes
at
sense.
the beginning
Okay.
of Tomb of Annihilation, where it just goes like, if a player tries to do any of these spells, the fucking bullshit tomb does some bullshit back. So fuck them. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. So does wizards just do this shit too? Where you're just like, nah, fuck you can't do that today because I don't want you to.
Okay.
Like, it's the best. But yeah, you can do it. I'm prepared. Don't worry.
No, I
You guys-
got
you
it. I
guys
got.
have some other spells that this might happen to as well.
Totally, for a non-meta standpoint, this is totally what the feat I was going to get, of course. You have advantage on wisdom, perception, and intelligence investigation checks made to detect presence of secret doors. You have the advantage on saving throws made to avoid or resist traps. You have resistance to damage dealt by traps. You can search for traps while traveling at normal pace. I mean, it's called Dungeon Delver, so, you know, it's totally coincidental that we're I'm not actually going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can do
We've
what
been
you
in
want.
the sand desert for what, like 3 months? Like, I'm
You
gonna
guys-
take Dungeon Delver.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have known for a long time that you're going to go to this fucking place.
You
I
did
mean,
survive
and
the
also
Underdark.
at this point, the blur between meta and RP is not a big deal because of
Because I would,
it's the end.
if I
Okay.
took that, I would hope we finished the dungeon in like 4 hours and pieced out and never used it again. That would
That'd be
make me
beautiful.
happy because
If
that's
you
a
finish
level
the
of meta.
dungeon, if you finish the dungeon in 4 hours, you will complete the entire campaign.
Well,
Uh,
since we're Well, since we're almost done, I guess I can just take the lucky feat then, right, Brad?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Everyone.
there we go.
Everyone
it's so fun
take-
if you say yes.
So I'll take lucky.
Everyone take the lucky feat, and everyone
And-
gets halfling luck.
I like halfling luck. That's a really nice racial.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. All right. So you're all good. Everyone's
I think-
leveled up.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's play the real game then, shall we?
Yay.
So, on the last episode of 24, you guys were in, or sort of on the astral plane somewhat. You were in Thin Dune. It got destroyed by a sandstorm thing that seemed to have been being controlled by somebody using a similar orb to your own, though it was black in color, where yours is red. You were reduced to what seemed to be sand. You ended up in your own kind of individual dream states, where you seem to live out portions of your lives by using those dream states, and also some sort of magical Raja fire, hand fire magic. You were drawn to the astral plane area that Sagan Shara, who was Raja's old druidic mentor from his hometown, sort of revealed himself fully to Raja as the wraith thing that has been consuming various settlements that are outside of the main areas and main cities and towns around Dustvale. And he sort of begged and asked Raja to release him. You guys together eventually all managed to defeat Sagan Shara in his sort of wraith form. He revealed that Solomon was the one that did it, that he has been sort of sitting as a mayor, somewhat close, Grima Wormtongue style to the Emperor in Crimson City for a while, and that when you guys come back to your material planes, you should go and find him and shove a Tolwar in his face. You guys successfully returned to the sands of Dustvale. You had a little look around, tried to figure out where you were. You figured out that you were pretty close to the Temple of Dreadtusk, which was this. You guys found it nearby, and when you did, some two figures appeared behind you. These elderly figures in all black, and though they looked similar to, they were the princess and Leon, though they were aged considerably. And that's where we pick up today's session, Szechuan sauce, with you guys sort of turning to see your old sort of comrades or allies out here in the dusts. And again, you look around and you see sort of an aged version of Leon. His hair's grey. He's got a long kind of Obi-Wan look to him. Obi-Wan beard, greyed hair. Where once he was young, he looked exactly like Leon S. Kennedy for no reason. Other than he's fucking hot. Fuck you. And the princess, again, she looks quite old as well, though I would say she looks a little younger than you would maybe expect her to be. Leon looks like he's aged badly, I would say, compared to her. She looks like she's aged well, but both of them are most certainly a lot older. And they sort of step out towards you. From nearby, you can see a kind of opening in this sort of cave system around you. I think you guys arrived kind of like mid-afternoon time, so the sun is still up. It's still very hot. There are these fuck-off great wyverns flying around above as well. Every now and then they let out a horrible screech that kind of echoes off of the redstone walls around you in this kind of canyon that you're in. Ahead of you again, there's this enormous structure, this very, very old looking temple that seems to be half built in and under the canyon itself. Although the top of it sticks out, it does look like it goes downwards. There's a very kind of obvious opening, but I'd say you're not right next to it, like you're not looking up at it. It's still a little ways away from you. Though these two come out from a little nearby cave. Leon is kind of leaning on a staff. The princess is not in that armor that you recognize her to be in before. For the first time, you sort of see her out of this heavy armor, and both of them are just in these sort of raggedy-looking, dusty black robes. The Leon, like, kind of standing there, looks like he's shaking a little, and maybe one of his eyes twitches a little bit. Whereas the princess seems a lot more composed. She steps forward and says, "Oh, my word, it's been 35 years since we last met. You must have questions." And she kind of looks left and right, and then opens her eyes wide and looks over towards where the Temple of Dread Tusk is, and says, "Hurry, quickly. Let's take cover in the cave first."
What the hell do you mean 35? What?
Yo, what kind of trick is this?
Yeah, no, that
It's
was like an
not-
hour.
The
It's
cave.
We
shouldn't
just
be out
saw
here.
you.
Come.
Shh. Do as she says.
Leon kind of looks over and says, "Good to see you," and then turns around and shuffles away, kind of oddly. He looks a little like he's struggling to move one of his feet at one point, and kind of stamps it against the ground, and then walks and shuffles his way into the cave. Both of them look very nervous, and they're very pretty shifty, looking around as they head into this small little alcove. You guys following?
Yeah, I
Just
guess.
gonna turn to Rod. What the hell is going on?
I'm not sure.
35
sure.
35
years?
years?
Yeah,
I'm not
look
sure
how
if-
old they look.
I don't know. Maybe they're hallucinating, but
Or maybe they're not really
No.
them. They look pretty nervous.
Yeah, we should be careful.
Be on edge.
You guys following in, yeah?
yeah, we'll follow them in.
We should.
So-
as we're going in, real quick, just we should use that, maybe that circle of truth. If it comes to it.
We could, but truthfully, I don't think she's lying. And Raja just walks
Alright.
in.
You guys follow them into a sort of alcove, and it turns immediately one way and heads slightly downwards into this cave system. Immediately, it's a lot cooler, and the form of the princess heads forward. She picks up a torch from a sconce on the wall. It looks like maybe they've been here for a little while, because she reveals a very small area where there's a handful of things, a couple of barrels, a couple of boxes, a tent, a few areas with like pots and pans. There's a campfire that looks like it's been set up and been used over a relatively long time. Some items of clothing and stuff around, rags. It looks like a small camp for these two, and like they've been staying here for a little while. Certainly longer than like a year. And they sort of usher you towards the campfire, which is not lit or anything, no food going on, but there's a couple of blankets sat around it, somewhat reminiscent of the first time that you met them with their entire gang, and they look towards them. Leon kind of struggles to sit down. His older frame, he creaks a little using the staff to sit on a large kind of cushion. It's quite a nice looking cushion, but old and dusty. The princess settles somewhat near him, and then they offer an area around you. You guys sitting down?
Yeah, I'll sit.
No.
Maybe they weren't hallucinating. It looks like a lot of time has passed.
But I mean, that much time, they look really old.
We were only gone for an hour.
Yeah, that was an hour.
The two of them are kind of watching you. They look like kind of as amazed as you guys do. Leon has a kind of smirk to his face, kind of as he's looking, and he turns to the princess and says, "I told you this is where they'd be, yeah?" And she says, "Yes." And she kind of strokes the side of his face and says, "You should rest." She, okay.
And how
Right.
to us, perhaps.
Presumably you have questions. I'll do my best to answer them.
I just blurt out, "What happened to you?"
Oh, to us, we got old, my dear.
Yeah, but how?
Ow.
Well, the same way anybody gets old. You've been gone a very, very long time.
We were gone for like an hour.
To you, it seems an hour has passed. To us, it's been almost 35 years here.
Why would you wait for us here for that long?
Well, we haven't waited precisely here for the entire time. We came here, when? A year, 2 ago? And Leon says, yeah, something like that. She says, well, Leon, of course, when you knew him, was a somewhat green divination mage. Since then, his powers have grown. We were able to predict where and when you would return. Somewhat. This was our very last hope that you would arrive here today. And here you are.
And what of the mission we were on when we left? Has the armor been destroyed? Has Solomon been slain? Is the Emperor still in power?
Oh, I assure you, if Solomon had been slain, we would not be hiding out in this cave. No, we left Thin June after its destruction. We arrived nearby, and in full force, we headed into Dreadtusk. Solomon and many of the Dragoon awaited us there, and, well, it's safe to say we lost. He wiped us out, all of us. Leon managed to scramble and escape. Solomon took me prisoner for a short time. After several days, Leon was successful in a rescue mission, though Solomon has secured the armor of eternal ending.
You faced Solomon in open combat, yes?
Well, truthfully, it was more of a trap. He was expecting us, and from what I'm able to gather, he was expecting you all to be there as well.
Dragoons.
Seemed
An easy
like
fight.
Well, I mean, they're not still down there, right? It's been 35 years.
I presume then that he has a new army of at least similar power.
Well, as far as we're aware, Solomon awaits your arrival. If we could predict it, likely he could too. You must stop him and destroy the orb. That is still the mission. Without the orb, his armor is really little more than a very nice shield, you know? But with the orb, he would become rather powerful.
If we
It's a
go to
shield that
confront
has a weakness.
Hmm?
It's a shield that has a weakness. I was able to penetrate that thing.
True. It is made from steel and iron like anything else. It just moves and fits the body. Form-fitted. But with the power of the orb, it is something else altogether.
If we were to go and try to confront him, we would effectively be bringing him the orb.
But also,
And-
the only way to stop him in his long-term goals is to destroy the orb.
But
And the only way we can
even-
destroy it is
So we're gonna have to distract him and
Dreadtusk.
get him elsewhere. Whilst one or two of us go ahead and take the orb and destroy it.
we could.
Draw him out as like a ruse and then destroy the orb.
Sounds simple, but I don't know if it's going to be that simple.
What of the rest of your band? William, the servant girl, are they still alive?
She looks down. No. All slain. We
It's
are the
just-
only ones left.
Just you two?
Yes.
And you're so old. Maybe you can't help us.
Oh, well, no, not really in combat. It's true. Leon says, I can try, of course. You must understand, it's a little interpretive, but I have kept us alive this long. With my magics, I'm able to see and ask things of what is to pass. I can ask 3 questions that can be answered today for you.
Oh, well, that is helpful. Raja, what do we ask?
I'm open to ideas as he kind of just turns to Walter and Carlias and then looks around to see if Arden's even in the room.
Is Arden in the room?
Yeah, he is. He's looking around. He's got one ear on the conversation.
Will we win?
Open to ideas.
That's.
Oh, I
I
don't.
mean,
We shouldn't ask that. Because if they say no, then.
It's
then
a
we won't
valid.
do it.
It's a valid question.
Oh.
What do we have to do to win? Like, not just destroy the orb, but the whole plan.
Maybe we should decide on the questions before we ask.
How complicated can these questions be, Leon?
Well, usually I am able to divine whether it's a yes or a no from whatever it is that is answering me back. So it's really just yes or no answers. Though we have been here 3 times before expecting you to appear, and you haven't. There was one vision in which just Lash appeared, and immediately, before we even said hello, she was gobbled up by a wyvern. So it's mostly interpretive, and unfortunately, time is fluid. But it is right when it's right.
Let's see.
Hmm.
Does Solomon have a weakness? Or the
One.
ancients in general?
One question coming right up, and the old man Leon kind of moves back a little. He grips his staff and closes his eyes and begins to just slowly mumble. The princess says, "This can take some time. Perhaps I could offer you some food. Some of you look weary, at least."
Oh, yes, I haven't eaten in 35 years. That would be lovely.
Yes, quite the appetite.
Carlos is shooting Raja, really. Like,
Dad jokes, really. I just say yes, please.
Yes. Well, I've got some dried lizard, salted.
I'll take some.
She pulls out a sort of pot and starts to just hand out these like jerky strips, basically. They don't look like anything more than like you would get from like a store with like a beef jerky or whatever. But she says, "Well, there you go. One for you, and anybody else? Lizard?"
Of course.
Hands one to you.
Raja's just instantly snacking on it like this is all he eats anyway.
She pulls out a couple of flasks and says, "One is mead and one is water. Quite fresh."
take the meat.
Adult
Where?
water or water?
Water, my dear.
If you've been surviving out here, where are you getting your rations from and the water?
She says, well, we're able to use Leon's magic to work out precisely when a lizard's going to run across a rock, or where we can douse for some water, dig down. And I've been making small, quick dashes into Dreadtusk. There's a fountain in there that continually creates water. Quite magical.
Under Solomon's nose.
The first chamber is a temple, a domed temple, small area, but it's really just a face for the true caverns below. Though I haven't
see.
worked out into how to get into Dreadtusk True.
When
So
your
what's-
group was ambushed and you fought Solomon, what did he do? Does he wield magic? Is he a giant monster? Like, what does he look like? What are we up against?
He looks like a man, more like an elf, at least in the form in which we fought him. I've heard that he's able to change shape into practically whatever he wishes.
Did he wear a robe with a golden trim and a green coloring to it?
No. When we fought, he was wearing basic-looking traveler's clothes. At first, we didn't expect anything of them. They all looked just like a bunch of pilgrims when we first arrived.
It's probably to keep up a
Raj is, he's visualizing the stranger that he saw talking to Sagan Shara now, and like that outfit that he was wearing. But
it was definitely finery, the guy that you saw.
Right.
Hey, princess. What has happened over the past 35 years? Anything of note? Anything?
Well, I've been...
That dragon still pissed off of me?
I've been avoiding the towns and cities for the most part, but from what I know, Oid still lives and runs his fighting pits, yes.
I still can't believe you got Oid mad at us. I need to go back there and talk to him, smooth that over.
Oh yeah, he'll kill you instantly.
He won't kill me. I've known Oid for years. Didn't know he was a dragon till recently, but at any rate,
the Emperor, my father, still sits atop the throne. As from all accounts, he looks even younger than I do, no doubt bolstered by Solomon's necromancy, although he has 2 new sons, Jorah and Maio Leothraxis. So, I suppose I have brothers ready to swipe up the throne. I'm hoping that they aren't quite as black-hearted as my father. A civil war broke out. Oh, well, that's something we'll have to deal with. For the most part, I think Solomon is the true enemy here. Perhaps if he's slain, maybe some of his grip over my father's mind will be loosened and I can go home.
Do we know for certain that Solomon is in Dreadtusk and not back at the capital?
She looks over at Leon, who's still mumbling, and she says, from what Leon says, Solomon has been prepared for your arrival in the same way that we have, to a degree.
Lovely.
And if Leon's magics can divine your time and arrival to this pinpoint accuracy, I'm sure Solomon has wizards and sorcerers who can do similar.
And that civil war.
Yes, a civil war broke out in Loststone. This new chancellor was appointed. I believe Stonetooth was his name. Though he mysteriously was murdered and replaced along the way by a dwarf known as Tovel Bones, perhaps? Very interesting. Yes.
That dirty rat.
For the last few years, they have joined up with my father and fallen back into line with the succession of the Emperor and this and whatever it is that Solomon's up to.
I knew that dwarf was no good.
Me too. Ouch!
And you just see me kind of swat away the speckle rat and try to fight for my lizard jerky.
Get back in there!
That means we don't have any allies left.
Well,
we still have. Well, actually, wait. Maybe don't. No, it's been too long. We still have Cambambulus. Well, maybe. I don't know how long. How long does
it? Pulls out the whistle.
How long does a kobold live, anyway?
Kobolds are not too long, I don't think. I'm sure.
Try calling for him.
Oh dear.
Well, don't call for him just yet. Let's plan out our next move before we waste his time.
There's a sudden cry from Leon as he wakes up. Ah! There's 100. Oh, yes, I am here. Yes, I wondered where I was for a moment there. Ooh,
100 what?
what?
You said
Who are-
100.
Who are you?
What? Wait,
Uh,
what do you mean?
It's Raja.
Leon smiles at her. Got you. No, I communed with whatever forces are able to provide me with this third eye. Your question, unfortunately, was answered with a yes.
Oh,
But that's all the detail
no.
we can get.
so he
Well,
does have a weakness.
I did see one thing. He was in a room surrounded by bodies. Hundreds of bodies, many of them adult, many of them young children.
Maybe he needs them to survive. Maybe he eats them.
Well, the thing is that I could swear that they were all the same. They looked the same. All of their faces, different stages of age of the same person, and they all looked like him. So we'll have to
You're saying-
interpret that as you
Uh-oh.
wish.
Oh,
There's no way
I-
he could be going back through time and getting himself to.
The time travel is quite impossible. Oh, perhaps not.
Well, I have a very important question.
Yes, I'll ask.
But no, I don't want you to ask. I want to know what you've heard, and the princess too. Have you heard of any Kenku? In the wars or anything, anywhere, any Kenku?
Kenku. I haven't seen a Kenku in what? Years. Not since that one. What
Or
was her
heard of
name?
any?
Lash. Oh, that's you.
Me. That's
Yes. No, I haven't
me.
seen a Kenku. And the princess says, "No, unfortunately, I haven't seen many people. For the most part, we've been living nearby here in cave systems, moving from time to time. It's quite far away from anywhere. Thinjune was never rebuilt. I believe there is a small handful of sandwalkers and pious types that have amassed there in tents, but no Kenku. We've seen many come and go over the years. This is, of course, a site of pilgrimage still, so often sandwalkers and various people travel here, but none of them Kenku, I'm afraid."
Mm.
I'm sure your people are out there, though. Really is an expanse of them across the whole world. It's not too many left here, I suppose, though, unfortunately.
No.
Leon says, well, while I'm here, your third question.
Third, we've only asked one.
Oh, well, good for you. Two then. Two more.
We'll have to discuss it. Guys?
Oh, well, spell won't last that long. I've already cast it.
Oh,
Can't go back in time, shouts
okay.
at Walter.
Would it be a bad idea to use the orb?
A bad idea to use the orb. That's the question then. All right, 1 second. He begins to sit and speak under his breath again in a mantric way. The princess says, "Oh, yes, the orb. Do you suppose that's what kept you alive this whole time? That's what Leon told me."
I don't know, but when we woke up, it was boiling in my pants.
Oh. Well, they do say that happens to men when they first wake up after a long sleep. But neither here nor there. for
Not like
today.
that. The orb, it was felt like
Oh,
it
the
was on
orb.
fire. Yeah.
You waited
Seriously,
35 years to make that joke.
She looks aghast. She goes red. She's an old woman. Oh no, sorry, I mistook the orb. Of course, yes. When I spoke to Leon, he mentioned that it was the orb which has shielded you, protected you. It drew you into the land as opposed to you being obliterated with the poor folk of Thin-June, and that's where you've been, I suppose, as one with the land, the sands.
Do you suppose Titan would help?
I'm afraid I wouldn't know. Perhaps Leon will shed some light on that soon enough. And she turns around and says, well, I suppose now's as good a time as any. I have a bottle of whiskey. One last drink. Interested?
Down the hatch.
He's got the
turns around
important
and
part done.
ruffles into a satchel and pulls out a bottle, corked. Yes. We found this. Just out there. Middle of nowhere. He's like a... What did he say? He's like a metal detector, but for whiskey. And anything, if he wants.
No, wait, hold on. Have you drank any of it?
No? I assure you it's quite fine. He has seen many futures. She pops the
mean-
cork, pulls some glasses out.
You don't know
Four,
what's
6.
exactly in it. It could be whiskey mixed with poison or something.
Well then, suppose I'll go first. She takes a shot of it.
I mean, we did have extra questions. We could have just asked if it was poison.
She
No, that
pops
would
the-
have been a waste.
She pops the glass down, recorks it, and pushes the glasses out towards the center of the area where you guys are sat and says, I trust Leon with my life at this point. If he tells me it's good to drink, I'd say it's quite good to drink. He's managed to keep Solomon off of our backs all these years. I'm sure the Dragoons and the Slake have been searching for us.
I just kind of look
Pause
to
a
Raja. Down the hatch.
Cheers.
Pours herself another one. Well, to the future.
The
And
future.
a good one.
And what's left of it.
I take a little half shot, probably also swatting the speckle rat from it.
Yeah, I'll take a small swig.
Arden taking a drink of his.
He's not paying attention still, probably.
Cool. Everyone make me a constitution save, because this whiskey is very, very special.
Save.
Oh.
Fuck.
How about my
Hey.
little half shot there?
Good thing I just took that proficiency in con
Yeah.
saves, baby.
I want to do.
There we go.
I actually did the same to get my health up as well.
Paying
I'm gonna do
paying
wild
dividends already.
That makes it a nat 20 with the wild magic.
Bam.
Why do you use wild magic for con saves on whiskey?
Use it for anything, man. I can get them back whenever, so.
Yeah,
Whenever.
you're all feeling fine. The princess looks fine too. Carlias looks a little pissed. You're not full blown blasted, but this one shot is strong enough to hit you like, oh, you feel a little lightheaded. She says, "Oh, that's rather strong."
Carlisle also drank all the meat earlier as well. Just as a heads up.
All right, well, that's probably why. The mead is pretty standard. It's not like particularly mind-blowingly strong. But the whiskey is very strong. It's some of the strongest whiskey you probably ever had. She recorks it, and as she does so, Leon startles awake again. Ah! Well, it was a different age back then, wasn't it? Quite different. Yeah, the age of the Magi. What?
Were you sleeping?
Good grief.
But-
what happened?
Well, we asked you a question.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Well, you didn't.
Talking
You
about
just
something
went to sleep.
Magi.
Went to sleep. Why did I go to sleep?
I just look over the
Lash just looks
princess like,
stunned.
is he always like this?
The princess says, yes, just give him a moment. He's been casting so many spells to keep us ahead of all of Solomon's forces. I'm afraid it's taken quite the toll on his mind. And she gives him a nudge and says, but somewhere in there's our old Leon. He's always stayed quite positive. And he says, well, what was your question? I believe you have 3 questions left to ask. You've only just sat down. That smell.
No, we've asked-
drinking. Who's
we've
been
asked-
drinking?
We've asked you 2.
All right.
You already answered the first one of whether
did
he
I-
had a weakness.
All right. What was the answer?
You said you saw a room of many bodies, but they were all the same person
Oof,
at different ages.
ghastly.
What do you think that means?
Well, I would say that sounds like the same person, different ages. Either we're seeing various different outcomes, or perhaps there's a person who's able to age and die and then be reborn. Maybe could mean anything. What do you think it means?
I haven't the foggiest. That type of wizardry is not my strong suit.
Well, I could teach you a few things if you'd like. I'm sure you've got the time.
Well, there might be time for that later, but we did ask you if we should use the orb.
What orb?
Oh, the orb.
Oh,
The whole.
the bastard thing. You gave it to them, isn't that yours? She says. Just the question. Concentrate, Leon. Think. Oh yes. What did they say? Many voices. Orb. Should they use the orb? Oh, they said no, and then they said yes, and then they said no, yes. So I would say that's really up to you.
Oh boy.
Never straightforward, is it?
Well, they said yes first, so you know what
But
they say.
they said no first.
Well, true, but instinct is something. You always go with your instincts, right? And she says, "You're a divination wizard. We've not been using instincts for a long time." The exact opposite. Well, it was my instinct to learn divination magic. Yes.
Okay, 2 questions. You said there's dragoons that come by here?
Well, do you want me to ask? I can ask.
No, that's...
What-
I'm gonna look over at the princess.
She says, "Leon, just rest, calm yourself for a
Just
moment."
kind of looking outside as well. Do they patrol by here? Should we know? Should we keep
no,
watch?
They don't patrol. They just. I believe that they are Solomon's personal guard, along with
Huh.
those horrible vampiric types that I'm sure you've encountered before.
Okay.
It's not really a
You're sure
patrol. Again, this
they
is
don't-
just a holy site. Really,
You don't know how to get in though, right?
no. The only times we've been inside, the first time we fought right there in the temple, just at the doorway. The few times that I've been inside, I've looked briefly around. It's only a small room. Really does not make much sense for the size of the temple. The acolytes in there will tell you that the rest of the temple is unsafe, not to be traveled around, and that the blood of Mistra was spilled right there in the opening chamber, the entrance. Loads of codswallop, if you ask me, but I've never believed it.
Just me to you, Brad. That little thing, the hole on the bottom left of the temple there, is that like an actual crater into the earth? Did we see that at all, or?
Yeah, it would probably be like a actual
Okay.
canyon,
Okay.
naturally built.
Can we go down through the canyon at all, or?
I haven't had the time to explore. I don't really like heading towards the temple. Not sure quite who's friend or foe in there. The acolytes seem to change a little too often for my liking.
We could
Uh,
ask how to get in. That's all I'm getting at.
As someone that's cast divination and isn't aware of how to cast the magic, is it look like the diviners been doing it properly, and maybe can I work with him after the conversation to try and see if I can make understanding of the vision he had?
You can give me an Arcana check.
Ooh, I'm really good with this. Ha!
Nice. It definitely looks like he's doing it right. He looks super practiced. In terms of him casting these spells, he seems to be definitely doing it correctly. In terms of what he's saying, again, he's part crackpot old wizard and part communal magic. Divination magic is all interpretive to a degree. Also, he said time was fluid, so there's your sci-fi nerds out there. That's how we're doing wibbly wobbly. As much as I fucking hate Doctor Who, I get it.
Carlos is gonna, I guess, meditate with the orb.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sit off to the side and just gonna focus in on the orb and.
You trying to do anything in particular?
Just trying to see if there's any form of connection, like any voices that he hears, or kind of like any heat that comes back to the orb or anything like that.
Roll me a d20. While you meditate, Leon turns back and says, "Okay, so you've asked 12 questions. 12.
Two, just the two.
And since we don't appear to have any other pressing third question,
What about one of yours?
One of my what?
Or Leon, do you have a question?
Oh, I'm all questioned out, really. We've put all of our faith into you now. You're all, at the very least, able-bodied.
Is there anything or anyone we should seek out before confronting Solomon?
Well, but he said it's yes or no answers, and I think I have a question. He said there's...
Last time we asked if Solomon had a weakness, the answer was yes, but we also got a vision, right?
Oh.
So if we ask if there's something or someone we should seek out, perhaps we get a vision there. But please, what is your question? Because I am open to ideas here. I'm grasping at thin air.
That does make good sense. I was just wondering, since he was surrounded by all those people, and Leon said there was a turnover of acolytes all the time, does he need fresh people all the time? What if we cut off his flow of people? But anyway, if that doesn't make any sense,
that seems like a question we could probably answer on our own with a little bit of recon. Not something to use.
Yeah, if we watch, we could.
Yeah.
Okay, ask your question.
Leon, go ask the voices one more time with the final question. Is there anything or anyone we should seek out before confronting Solomon? And do try to pay attention if it shows you a vision of the answer.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm always paying it.
Right.
And what was your fourth question?
Oh no, we just asked.
No, yes, you're right. You don't get 4. No, you have to just wait.
Do this one first, and we'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, of course. And the question, of course, should you use the orb? Yes,
No.
No.
Is there anyone we should seek out before?
Tell you what. Does he have like scrolls and ink and such?
They probably almost definitely do. Yeah, somewhere laying around.
I write the question out.
Wizard.
I just write the question out for him here, and I hand it to him.
Oh, it's very, very nice. Cursive handwriting. Who taught you how to write like that?
A man named Sagan Shara.
Oh, sounds like a very, very serious man. I didn't expect somebody who spends all of his time in the desert to write so prettily. Very, very nice. Yes, I'll take this letter with me. He folds it up and holds it in his hands, and then grips onto his staff. Okay, then I'll deliver your letter. And he closes his eyes and begins to sort of slowly go over his mantra again. The princess says,
we'll leave with what little sanity we have to let it go through with the ritual.
The princess says, well, the only thing I think I can help you with is that they generally don't seem to be in the main entranceway, the chambers. They clearly have another way in. I would assume that you'd be able to enter, maybe if you threw a robe over your heads and take a look around the entranceway. I'd imagine that you'd have some chance at investigating, looking about before you were immediately snatched up. They don't leave the dragoons around. It's frightened off all the pilgrims. This is a place of religious and pious pilgrimage, so for the most part it looks like just a nice, calm temple. Some people set up tents. You'll see them as you approach on the outside. We saw a sandwalker and at least one other approach this morning, so we know that they have visitors. It's very unlikely that they'll have the dragoon traipsing around.
So what you're saying is, and I'm going to pull out at least 2 wigs, Walter, you're going undercover.
I've left. I left out of frustration after he
Walter!
said, you want to use the orb.
She looks up. She looks up to you, Arden, and says, "That's actually a rather good idea, I would imagine."
He looks amazing with the blonde
Pop
one.
my head back in. Yeah, what's up?
He already has.
You're
very
going
nice-
undercover!
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. Cool. Where am I going? Oh,
I
in
don't
there?
know. I wasn't listening to that part.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll dress up.
Wait, why are we dressing him up?
I'm going to start dressing him up like a princess.
Wait, Arden, what?
I think he's gonna go look for an alternate way in.
I just like
Well, she is gonna.
why do we always default to this plan exactly?
I don't know. Arden told me you guys needed me to dress up, so I'm like half strip right now. Like,
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I mean, Arden is really good at disguising people.
yeah. So I don't need to dress up. I don't want to go into the temple though.
You do whatever you need to do.
I mean, I
just gonna walk away.
Hold on. I think. Do I have disguise self or no?
Ross just gonna go find Carlias specifically.
No. Fuck.
Well, Carlias is sitting with the orb. Carlias, the orb in your hands while you sort of concentrate and meditate around it, it doesn't heat up. It doesn't respond directly in any way. You don't have like a voice that speaks to you or anything like that. Though, Raj, give me a perception check as you approach Carlias.
Sure.
Oof. You don't see it. Yeah, Carlias, kind of nothing going on. It seems to be inert again and remains inert since you last saw it kind of in use when you guys popped out from the sands or from the nowhere, somewhere between.
Right. Well, yeah, so I see nothing. I just walk in but you said he's like sitting there in a meditative stance, correct?
That's what he said, yeah.
Carlias?
What?
Are you praying to a rock?
Not praying per se. Just trying to see what the hell it does.
The others are starting to drive me a little bit nuts, so I had to come see how you were holding up.
What do they start to do?
Leon doesn't even know which way is up, and we're relying on him for all of our information, and the other 3 are playing dress up.
Can you expect any other?
At this point, no. No, I don't expect anything else.
No. When we woke up, I already told you the orb felt like it was on fire, but I haven't been able to really figure anything out. You try.
No.
And you just kind of lift up the orb to Raja.
You know, the entire time we've been traveling with this thing, I've never really stopped to appreciate it much. I'll stare into the orb, I guess.
Cool. Give me a d20. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Finally did it. Carlos, you see what is the mark you have on your arm, Raja?
Raja has the skeletal arm thing with the Kellumbor scales on his wrist.
It was Kellenbor, right?
Right.
Raja, while you're looking at the orb, it doesn't do anything openly. It doesn't like light up. It doesn't call down an angel. But the mark on your hand begins to sort of lightly glow. Like they kind of sparkle. You have these like they're almost like tattoos that you've had that kind of sparkle in the sunlight, if you remember.
Mhm.
And it begins to legitimately like light up. Like if you were in pitch darkness, and it is relatively dark in this cave, you'll probably be able to see it a little more. It kind of does light up like a phone kind of thing, like that level of light. While you're holding it, only briefly and for a few seconds, and then it kind of dims out again. You don't feel a direct connection with anything in particular at the moment, though. But you both definitely see a reaction as you sort of concentrate on this mark, or from the mark.
You saw that, right?
Would Carlos have seen that?
Yeah, you both saw it. Yeah, it's straight up.
Yeah. That's odd. It's not every day.
You received a mark similar, right? Does yours not react the same way?
Mine's on my chest, but I can't just pull it.
Sure, it'd be hard to see through the clothes.
If you're looking at it, there's nothing going on.
Yeah, I'll just hand it back to him and say, it's been in your care through most of this trip. I figure it should stay there.
Well, I don't know, it's still an odd feeling. Will it Titan pick me up and say my name and everything that's happened?
You suppose we'll live through this?
I'm sure as hell like to, but you can never tell.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Hey, what did you... Before we were all in that darkness, what did you see?
Sorry, when?
When the sand hit and I woke up, like, what did you see?
Oh, my vision? I saw my childhood again. I saw my father and my friends from before they all vanished. And I saw who I'm almost certain was Solomon talking to Saganshara before everything went to hell.
So we didn't see the exact same thing then.
Suppose not. Unless you saw a vision of my childhood.
That'd have been fairly odd.
There were a lot of dwarves.
I can't imagine you'd be out in Outburst or such.
No, these three dwarves traveled all the way to the south end of the continent to go visit a shrine of Shantae.
Do you remember their names?
And what were their names again, Brad?
T, T, and T.
Todrin.
was-
Todrin.
It's
It was
Todrin,
Todrind, Tumdrind.
Todrind, and what was the other one?
Thumb.
No,
Thudrind.
he'll just say that. Yeah, Thudrind, Todrind, and Tumdrind were their names.
I know Carlos would have known one. You said he'd know one of them. The one that got stabbed in the spear.
Oh yeah, no, I think you
Todrind.
would. If did you say the name Everflow? Because you'd probably pick up on that quickly. But actually, no. Give me a history check. Let's just see if it give me a dice roll. No, you don't recognize any of those names just on their own. Mine's elsewhere today.
Yeah, they came all the way down to visit the Shrine of Shantae. And we haven't ever really talked about it much, I suppose, during this trip, but I grew up in a town that was pretty much dedicated to the worship of Shantae. That was my entire life up until I was 20-ish when I left home. To this day, when people ask, I still tell them I'm a servant of Shantae, although I haven't really actively done much. Spent most of my time venting my frustrations, slaying undeads, feeling like it was going to put back something that I should have known a long time ago could never really be replaced.
Well, I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? I didn't exactly expect to. You remember that day in the tower? After I killed Kenneth?
I remember.
I told you all what happened.
You did.
It had been years since I had been there, but I guess in my vision I was right back there again. Back at that scene. Back with all the guards rushing around. Back. I felt everything. Saw everything. It was like fire of anger. But then and that's done. I did what I have to do. Now I got roped into all of this, and
Did you know them?
who?
The three.
The kids?
Yeah.
I knew their mother.
Sorry to hear that.
But I'd say if anyone saw what that man did to them, especially working in my field, you'd probably do the same.
I don't envy you, Mr. Drex. At least in my line of work, I don't have to feel guilty after I kill the monster. And Raja will walk out as he says that.
At the exact same time, from across the room, the old man Leon says, "I don't have to feel guilty every time I kill a monster. Where's the monster then? Who are you?" He shouts at Lash.
It's us. It's me, Lash, and Raja, and I'm just casting around, pointing at everyone. And we asked you our third question, and you had it written down. And I look for the piece of paper near his staff. Do you have it?
Yes.
open at him.
Throws the piece of paper over at you.
Well,
Of course, I asked.
well, what'd you learn?
Well, they said yes.
Yes, there is someone to go see. Did you have a vision?
Oh, yes. It was a quite the vision. Oh, a large platter of food, pig and sautéed, and mushrooms from another continent.
Oh,
Yeah.
From Fin Thaylor. Were they special?
What? No. None
wait,
of that.
those mushrooms I ate?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
the guy
him.
that turned you into you, Lash.
Who?
Right,
Me?
he had the mushrooms from, was it
What?
Fin Thaylor?
Oh.
What's his name? Do you remember?
I hate mushrooms. Why would I eat
Not
that?
you.
No,
No,
it's
he had them.
Disgusting.
Raja,
Oh.
do you remember the name of that wizard?
I feel like Raja is just walking back into the room, and he's just had this like super solemn conversation with Carlias, and he just comes walking back into this cacophony.
Welcome
it's
back
just-
to the shit.
The same shenanigans he just tried to escape.
Raja, he answered your question.
What's
we
the
have
answer?
to go find the wizard in
The
in
wizard
desert.
who I can't remember his name. Darn it. The one who turned me.
Oh my god, what the fuck was his name?
Ah, I
Why don't we
remember
take
the one.
notes?
The one with the two kids. What were their names? Hold on. I know I have it written in my journal.
This is why you guys need to take notes.
I took notes all last campaign. You rewarded me by killing me with a beholder, so it's the notes
Yeah,
problem,
I took.
not my gameplays.
I took.
That's
I took a massive amount of notes for like our first 10 episodes, and literally never once ever needed to consult them. And I was like, why am I wasting my time taking all these super detailed
now-
notes everywhere?
Now we need it.
Now we need it.
Chat.
Yeah, chat. What's
No.
his name?
It was
Yegwin and Malkun, the kids.
That's the
I remember
kids.
the kids' names. I don't remember I don't have the wizard's name written down.
Yeah, we need to find him.
Ergwin.
Ergwin.
Aragorn.
Yeah, it
There
doesn't.
you go. As soon as you say it, the princess says, "Oh no, it can't possibly be. You have to go all the way to Sin River.
What?
Oh, well, I
Oh.
mean,
He's
Raja-
the arch wizard. He's one of the,
but he's not always there. Hey, Leon, he's probably exhausted.
Leon's staring at you. When did you go there? Then what's up?
Oh no, I'm just wondering if you can find out where Aragorn is.
Well, of course I
No.
can.
Oh, you can?
What?
Yes.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Well, we need to know where he is, cause we need to see him.
I'll do that right away. And he looks at the princess. His eyes go wide. They asked if you could. They need to find the Archwizard of Sin River. You have to. Can you divine where he is? No, that's absurd. I've used all my energy. And she just turns back. Well, perhaps if we give him an hour.
Okay.
I'm rather tired. I've already delivered your letter. And they
Oh,
sent you one
thanks.
back. Why don't you?
But there's a letter?
I'm going to take a little lie down now. My head's feeling a little woozy.
Oh,
Will-
sure.
Thank you, Leon.
Will you be fine? And she says, I'm sure we'll be fine. We'll have to have somebody guard the door, if one of you wouldn't mind.
I'll
I would
walk
recommend
back
somebody with good eyes.
in my cross dress and start watching the door.
Did you actually do the cross dress? Do you want to roll for
Can I
the?
get-
Oh, I mean,
Was it makeup or disguise self?
Oh no, makeup, like all
makeup.
the disguise stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, do we do a beauty
You gotta
roll
roll
here?
your
Yeah.
What is it? Your disguise kit. It's okay. It's not the best job. You ever seen me when I do my own makeup versus when Emma does my makeup? Like, I'm getting there. I'm not doing too bad at it, but it's passable. But if anyone comes up real close to you, they're probably gonna either think that you really suck at makeup or see that you are, in fact, Walter
Disguise.
Benthey, one of the most wanted people on the continent.
Yeah, from
Yeah,
a meta
go post
standpoint,
up
I
for
think it's a
watch.
terrible idea, but from an Arden standpoint, from what little he actually listened to, this is the fallback plan.
Does the piece of paper that Leon handed back to me, is it the same one that Raja wrote?
It's the same piece of paper, but the writing is gone.
Oh.
In place of it is a drawing, basically, just a full. The entire page is filled with images. At the center of the page, you see an image of what is certainly Raja, kind of pen and ink, scratchy style. He appears to be shaking hands with another figure, a very tall, finely dressed figure with these pointed ears, like the like the ears of an elf, but they're a little sharper and a little flatter, so they come out like an elf's ears come up just like kind of nicely. These come out a little further, kind of like horns, kind of just like a perfect point. A little more like the WoW elves, kind of.
So it's Link.
Like, yeah, imagine Link, but if he wasn't a fucking tiny little.
Aragorn was an elf, right?
He was, yeah. There's sort of, these are kind of interlinked, but the image next to it is of this same figure with the very pointy super elf ears, standing kind of clutching at an area of his throat with what is clearly blood pouring out, spilling everywhere. Next to it is just a form of kind of Raja in like a stance with the tulwar slicing across this person's throat, with the rest of the party kind of in the background, all standing at arms as if you were involved in sort of a combat.
Can you go back a sentence or two? Whose throat did I chop open?
Well, we
This-
don't know. He's saying it looks
in a
like an elf
picture.
with ears.
This elf with particularly large ears.
Right.
On the other side, this same elven figure stands tall with kind of like the sun gleaming behind him, like midday, standing on the corpses of all of you guys, and then just endless corpses underneath it of just various people, just everyone. Within it, you'd probably make out the form of the princess and Leon, and then just people that you've never seen. In one corner is a face that you would recognize, though he's kind of scowling. It's the face of Kenneth.
Mm.
Your Kenneth. Kenneth from before.
Raja, do you think... Look at this. Was this all part of his vision?
I don't know.
I mean,
What?
he saw me get eaten by a wyvern, so he can see several possible futures, but if this is one,
And I point to the pile of corpses.
It looks
Then-
like on one side of the paper I'm slicing his head off, but on the other side of the paper he's killed us. Maybe there's a possible outcomes?
seems like it.
I'll just hold up the one with all of us dead and point at it and just kind of like show it to her and say, "This is the bad one, okay? We're gonna try and avoid that." And then
He's an artist.
Roger's actually gonna crumple it up and just toss it. We're gonna make our own future from here on out. Let's get everyone together and then... I don't know if Leon's gonna be useful in an hour or so, but if we can get a hold of Aragorn again... Elves live a bloody long time. He's probably still youthful, if nothing else. Maybe he can point us in the right direction.
Okay. Do you think Leon has any spells that we could, talk to him with, like, mirrors or something? I don't know.
I don't know. I fear that his mind is going and perhaps exerting himself with all of this ritual divining might be taxing him a little bit more than we should.
The princess chimes in and says, "Oh, he's quite fine. He knows precisely when he's going to die. He always knows when he's going to die. He avoids it or doesn't continue casting for that day. He's been doing this a very long time.
I
It's
see.
certainly taken a toll on his mind, but I don't think it's going to just drop him dead."
You wouldn't happen to know if we would be able to find the Archwizard of Sin River at Sin River or somewhere else, would you? I don't know if you maintain contact with any of your...
I haven't even ever met him, so far as I'm aware. He's an ally of my father's, though. Although all the wizards are, at least on the surface. Of course, the wizards were part of the previous uprising with my mother or grandmother, so...
If he's allied with your father, that would put him in league with Solomon, which would make him our enemy. But
Yes.
that doesn't make sense because he could have killed us when we first met him.
Yeah. What if he only appears to be in league?
We need to find him.
We also need. Hey, is there anywhere around here to get eggs?
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking. I have an egg craving. You don't suppose you have any?
Eggs? Oh, no, I haven't seen anything that lays eggs for a while. Not big enough. The larger lizards we tend to avoid. They're big and snappy. We're rather old, slow now. Well, if you're planning on traveling all the way to Sin River, you'll never make it. You'll absolutely be caught by Solomon's forces and rounded up.
Oh, we have one little trick up our sleeve that we've never shared with anyone else.
Right.
We can get to Sin River quite quickly.
Oh, okay. One of you has learned the ways of magical travel?
No, but you guys do. Leon, he used to be really good at it.
Oh, yes. He can send, I believe it's 8 people to wherever. Although, he would have to come with you.
Oh, is he okay to travel?
Well, yes, but again, traveling to a city like that, you're bringing along a lot of danger moving around. Especially, she kind of looks over at Carlias with your dragon problem.
Oh, right.
It still might be worth. It still might be worth going just to try and consult with the wizard, and if anything, I can try talking to the dragon. I've known Oid many years. He was constantly trying to badger me into going into his fighting pit, but I never did it. But nonetheless, I don't know. I can't imagine he would murder me in cold blood. Powerful though he might be, he's had 35 years to calm down.
Well, Leon might have a way to talk to him.
Why don't we all take a moment and rest, and then when Leon wakes up, we can ask him. I'm sure he can look for various outcomes for you, and if need be, we may be able to travel en masse to Sin River. And she again looks a little nervous. I suppose it's do or die now, though.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Let's let everyone get their rest then.
You guys are still not at full health and stuff, right?
I was just going to ask, when we rematerialized in the desert, we did not heal, correct?
You didn't know. You're at the point of whatever you were at, whatever you had. You have all of your hit die and stuff. You definitely, that's one thing that you have. But in terms, you were fully healed before your fight with Sagan Shara, and then whatever you have now is what you have.
Yeah, we kind of need to heal.
Actually realized
Sleep.
Yeah,
Need to rest
I'd
up.
probably come back in and guys, I would love to take watch, but I'm really tired. Can someone
go to sleep?
All right. Thanks.
Raja just kind of folds his arm and leans up against the cave door.
No, I can take this watch.
Brad, would my character be able to do go to a corner and do some of his own divination without bothering anybody?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Pretty much just as a thing. My character's wasn't paying attention, so he's not really up to date with anything. So he's gonna contact. Before all this happened, the fight, I was told that I needed to talk to my maker, and God. So probably just divine and try and make contact with him again, and try and sort that out.
and the rest of you are doing hit die. You guys doing a long or a short rest here?
I'm planning on a long. Tenchi and I, we both have exhaustion points, so I gotta sleep this off.
If you're doing hit die, you don't want to be doing that. I guess you can, if you want. Remember, on a long rest, you only get half of your hit die back.
Let's... Okay.
Fuck.
Is Carlisle not going to take a long rest?
Carlos is gonna, for probably the first half, continue just meditating, and then the second half he'll take watch.
So what spell are you casting, Arden?
He's just gonna cast Divination. Just see where it takes him this time. So last time he took him to the Trickster God, I believe, who he thought was amazing and wonderful, but then was it the princess that yelled at me? No. Who did we talk to? The cool magic lady.
Lady Numera.
Or was it the guy?
It was Mother Numera.
Or Mother Numera.
Yeah.
Not Lady Numera.
Yeah. She yelled at me for kind of
told
straying.
you to get in touch with your actual god.
Yeah.
Whichever one you used to pray to. Okay.
And he totally kind of just blew it off until he saw the divining wizard actually like contacting it and seeing it work somewhat, seeing that it might actually be kind of dire.
The spell costs 25 gold pieces.
Yeah,
You
I do
have
have
that?
a little bit. Yes.
All right.
Usually I'm broke, but I have a little bit this time.
Brad, I started rolling hit die, but I forgot. If we take turns keeping watch, we all still get long rest, right? We don't have to stay up.
Yeah, it's not based on sleep. It's just based on not doing anything too massively taxing, like casting spells or fighting things and stuff like that. If you stay awake for like multiple days, you'll start suffering exhaustion and things, but we're probably not going to get to that. So yeah, as long as you're good. Arden starts to cast one of these divination spells in one corner. You maybe begin your watch, keeping an eye on the front of Dreadtusk, the opening. Doesn't seem to be anything really going on. Give me a perception check though while you're there.
Raja, which one of us actually took it? Did you take
did you take
my offer when I said I was going to watch? Or
I feel like for the first few hours he just kind of sits there making small talk, but then eventually he's going to go off and nap somewhere, so maybe we just roll for it.
Sure.
All right.
All right, you're rolling a d20, rolling a d20. Got it.
Who gets it based on what? There you go.
All right. It's all yours.
All right, so
Give me a perception check.
Oh.
Yeah, you do the same thing. Like you're looking out. You're kind of able to see quite clearly the entrance area to Dreadtusk. You can see all the various parts of it. It just looks empty and dead. It doesn't look like bustling temple or anything. There's not like people coming and going from it. But,
okay, so I don't see anyone coming and going to any special areas that might kind of enlighten us as to where this secret entrance might be.
There's a very obvious singular entrance way that you can see leads into an area. You're probably a little too far away to actually see anyone of worth, but you probably do notice that there is 2 small tents set up nearby out the front.
Like sandwalker-ish tents, or can't really delineate.
You see two
just tents. Gotcha.
2 tents. Small, not big, not long term. But other than that, I would say you see nothing.
Okay.
Or nothing that like there's nothing fucking running out at you. Like there's not a group of dragoons on horses riding straight for the cave. Arden, who are you specifically trying to contact, if anyone?
God, I don't remember who the freaking. I almost wonder, would it be better to contact the guy that when we went and talked to Nurgle, we got our mark of a god. Would that be the god to contact, or because I don't really know if it's just Tempest God.
Is yours Mistra or who did?
God,
Well,
not having my book here sucks.
Your original, I can give you the gods.
Because I have Tempest God written down. I don't know what that is.
Tempest.
3 of us have Mistra, and I'm one of them.
Talos, maybe.
Maybe.
He's a god of storms. Kind of a war god. Oh wait, Tempest, not Tempest.
Yeah.
Oh, you have Tempest. Okay, sorry. Yeah, god of war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just straight up god of war right there, boy.
Yeah, we're gonna go talk to boy.
Cool. While you see everybody else around you settling down, the princess settles quite close to where Leon lays twitching in sleep. Every now and then he mutters something inane. She'll every now and then offer you guys drinks, food, and maybe make small talk. And Raja and Lash maybe spend a little while watching Dreadtusk before each of them swap lookouts. You look to one end of the cave, Mr. Arden, and you see just a fucking flaming sword floating. It's there, ready for you to take it and claim as yours if you want.
No one else sees this?
No one else is doing anything. Everyone else is just doing their own thing, like normal, like your usual life, when everyone's doing things around you and you're just wandering about and they don't see all the things that you see.
I'm gonna walk up to it. Hello?
Just a flying sword on fire. Beautiful looking, ornate sword.
Interesting. Duke, are you here?
Duke is wandering around, sniffing at some of the salted lizard.
God, you are so useless. Jesus.
Does not respond to you at all. Doesn't even lick his head.
Fine. All right. Well, I mean, we're all gonna die probably. It seems like that's what's going on. Walter's gonna look beautiful. I'll look beautiful. But screw it.
You grab the flaming sword by the hilt. Your eyes ignite. As far as we're concerned, we see Arden's eyes turn to fire. And that's where we're going to go to our first break.
Arden, the new god of war?
Yeah,
Arden
is the new god of war.
Your best boy.
As Arden switches from cleric to paladin.
Right.
Or a pile of ashes.
We'll be right back. See you all in a few.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tablestory's Dust Veil. Mr. HJ Tenchi, aka Arden, please can you roll me some initiative in a second? Because you grab the sword, your eyes light up on fire, and then suddenly you find yourself in a fucking great coliseum. It looks almost exactly like the fighting pits that you guys were in before.
Ooh.
You look around you and you see that the audience at this coliseum is almost entirely made up of multiple Rajas, Walters, Lashes, Carliases. However, in front of you, there is a fuck-off great man with a giant flaming greatsword on fire, covered in resplendent armor, shining and glowing, and he's running towards you screaming. And that is why I'm going to need some...
Damn.
Well,
You're fighting Tempest,
How many of I are cross-dressed?
the Lord of Battles. 50% of them, and they're all in
Nice.
different dresses.
Oh, that means some of me are still a Kenku.
Yeah, it looks like a
This,
RuPaul finale.
the first time
Live
I've
show.
seen another Kenku feels bad, man. 35 years.
How many of the Rajas have their headscarf removed?
7.
None.
This enormous fucking giant of a man, this is pure like God of War situation here, like the game, runs at you with this fucking great sword and swings it down towards you. Just that you were manifest, and then suddenly there is a great sword going woof, with this flame. You feel the heat of it immediately. What is your AC, please, sir?
18.
Damn.
The sword launches down towards you. You duck down. You feel the heat burn and singe at maybe the hairs on your head. As you look back up again, the giant figure turns the sword on its side and just cracks you inside, sweeping at you with the side of a fiery great sword. You will be taking 10 slashing damage. And where are my d10s? Oh, fuck
Oh
it,
no.
roll in there.
It's always a bad sign when the DM reaches for a D10 on a damage
And
roll.
26 fire damage. It is your turn.
Let's see here. 26, 36 damage. Jesus Christ. Yeah, down to 16. I'm really glad I leveled up that Gone thing like
He
Relay
fucking
did.
smacks you one. You're probably like immediately reeling and stumbling, and there's just like burn marks down one of your arms. The crowd goes wild. Everybody in the crowd, all the Rajas are like screaming at you, "You Zephyr Strike!" And like all of the Lashes are like, "You should hide." there's a Carlias like, "You should run out of the back door over there." And there's a Walter who's just biting on a giant steak, like nodding at you. What do you want to do on your turn?
Okay. Do I recognize this as Tempest?
This is give me a religion check. I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I
know
don't
what
know
the
either.
avatar of Tempest looks like. Yeah, this is like from any books that you read or studied or maybe were brought up with. This is basically exactly the depiction of what he looks like from those books. However you picture him is how he looks. If he's a big fearball, that's what he is. If he's a giant gnome,
Right.
that's what he is. Whatever.
Oh.
Did say he's
Oh, wait,
injured.
supersized.
Oh,
Okay, you're
he's
good.
back.
You
Okay.
froze there for a second.
Oh, sorry. Whatever you
Yeah, no worries. I
envision
gotcha.
as Tempest is what he looks like. So what is he?
He would just be pretty much this giant, not like overbearing Neanderthal, but kind of like what he is there, but maybe a little less armor.
Yeah,
Yeah, that works.
that's how he looks.
Yeah. Okay, so my question with the reasoning of that was, I'm trying to decide. I don't know if I can use spells on this guy. If he's a god or an avatar of a god, his checks are going to be so high. Do I have any potions? I don't think I have any potions, right?
I have no idea what you got.
Nope. I really wish I had a fire ring now. Does anybody actually have a fire ring? A half damage fire ring, just out of curiosity, because I have thunder damage.
No,
I've got
thunder.
lightning, I think.
Okay,
Or
cool.
is it thunder?
So I don't feel so bad about that.
You got like
Mine,
we got
mine
thunder.
does psychic, I believe.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Okay, so I guess just immediately cast Sanctuary on myself. As like a kind of a reflexive action. I pop in, get smacked, like till the spell ends, any creature who's target the water creature has to make a wisdom saving throw, or not, pretty much just not be able to attack me.
Yep.
So it's a bonus action, and then the action, I'm just gonna try and get my bearings. So like, wait, what's going on? Why am I here? Who are you? Why are you attacking me? I feel like we could probably get through this. And
the enormous figure immediatly, as a reaction, is able to counterspell your divine spell by just holding up a hand. He looks to the crowd and says, "Whoa, magics! Nah, fight me!" And then, bing! Your divine sanctuary spell, the ongoing effect ends.
So that's how it's going to be. Wonderful.
And he holds up his flaming sword and says, "What do you think's going on? We're fighting!"
God damn it. Fine. I'm going to use my Fearbolt Glacial to turn invisible for one entire round until the beginning of my next round.
Yeah.
And try and when I go invisible, I'm just going to try and scoot around, staying within his reach, scoot around to the back, because what I'm going to try and do next turn is immediately cast a heal on myself, then I'll fight him. I can't fight him at 16 health.
You turn invisible. You can move yourself to wherever you get to. On his round, he looks down and says, "Oh, cunning!" And he just stabs his giant greatsword into the ground and stands proud, looking at the crowds who go wild. The end of his turn. Your turn.
God, I really wish I would have taken the other spell. That was between two different things, and that's the one. Yeah, Death Ward. I when I dropped to 0 one time, it goes to 1 instead. That'd have been nice. All right. Can I? Do I try and pull a spell on him, chat? Or
You ain't got time to ask the crowd. The crowd are all screaming at you.
I look up to Raja. Zephyr strike him!
Zephyr strike him!
No,
There's just like
Screaming,
40
"Shut up!
Tolwars. Like 40 Tolwars are thrown from
Yeah,
the
just-
damage. Just
Spinning towards you. They're crashing into the sands around you.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on myself
Yes.
at level 4. So 24, I guess, or I think it's. I still don't know how to read that freaking.
So you get, hang on. So you get 4 castings of it basically. So that's the first one and then the 12 on the left, I think.
Yeah, so 12,
remember
12,
what the other
4,
ones
or
were.
just 12 and 12.
I think it's just 12
Well,
and 12.
The
think
top
it's
one
just-
says 3d8, and then the next one is 1d8, and then the other one is another 1d8. So it's Cure Wounds is 3d8.
1d Yeah,
Just as a thing, we've always taken
No,
the
it's all-
left number and the top number.
I think.
Well, I can't
think
even
that's
remember
right.
what Cure Wounds is, to be honest. How many? What is Cure Wounds? How many dice do you roll?
Cure Wounds is just a 1d8 plus your modifier.
One, yeah, so it's the one on the left then. I don't know what the other one's for. Anyone know?
No, I think
Not
roll
a
20.
clue.
Yeah, we have this
Is-
like every time we do it. It's roll 20 just is fucking weird for some reason.
Yeah,
another one.
it's like
Okay.
advantage or something.
So it's
Google it.
24.
I've rolled
Alright,
my
cool.
spells pretty much manually for the entire campaign, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right, cool. With that done, I can't do anything else with my bonus action. I don't think I can do anything.
He stomps around, grabbing the sword up out of the ground, and looks down at you, and then says, What are you doing?
I'm trying to make it fair. You can't just hit a man when they pop in.
All right. Boom. Stabs his sword back into the ground again and stands there and puts his hand on his side. Now it's fair. Ends his turn.
Oh, well, I mean, I agree with this, but gonna do this and cast another Cure Wounds on myself. See, now it's fair.
End your turn.
Yeah. I'll just pull out my battle axe and ready my shield.
That's a nice axe you got. Where'd you get it from?
Well,
He tries to smack you in the face.
Ow!
That is one hit again. Let's see here.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of dice.
12 slashing damage and 20 fire damage. As you begin to open your mouth, he just whips the thing out and bonks you on the head with the flaming sword, and then holds it up and looks around at the crowd, so you all cheer. And then it's your turn.
All right, well, if that's how it's gonna be, then you know what? I'm just gonna cast Sanctuary on myself and sit down and be like, I'm gonna go to the Doctor Strange.
Didn't you try that already?
Just gonna cast it again. Like,
Okay.
you can't keep doing that. Like, get smaller or something. It hurts.
You
As a character, I can't take more than 2 hits or 1 crit, so I'm trying to stall.
The large form. By the way, this is at the end of your turn and not on his turn.
Right.
Holds his sword up, looks down at you, and closes his hand again. Ends the divine effect over you, and says, "Oh, you're no fun." And he's gonna do whatever this fucking thing is called. Give me a strength saving throw. You take 12 radiant damage as he stabs his sword into the ground again and claps his hands, and then there's just a boom of light, a column of light around him that expands outwards, blinding you a little. It also pushes you onto the ground, and the enormous figure of Tempest says, "Disappointing!" and stabs you through the middle, dealing 13 slash damage and 19 fire damage. And then it's your turn.
I'm down.
Yeah. You feel this enormous sword just pierce through you. It splits you in two. Your legs are flung one way and your body rolls over another. The enormous form of Tempest looks down at you. You're not dead. You're just perfectly fine, but you have no legs. He looks down at you and says, "Spending too much time with gnomes. Yes? Smell 'em. War priest, is it? No. And you come to me for help? And you can't even fight? Not today." And then you die. And you are returned to your little body. Back in the cave, you hear the sounds of the Colosseum drift away. The form of Tempest looks down at you as you let go. And Arden, wherever plane you were on just then, you have died. But everyone else, as far as you're concerned, Arden stands up, walks to the other side of the room, and then just stares at a wall for about a minute. And this, on any other character, would be really weird. However, Arden, you come back. You feel yourself return to your physical form of your body. And You're back? Yeah. Spell is finished.
like, you okay?
I have no idea, to be completely honest.
You're completely fine.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like, you are not dead. You are just
Sweet.
completely back to normal.
All I know is that the gods suck, and I need to be.
Your belly aches.
Oh, and I need to be in a different profession.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
Just gonna crumple over.
All right. So you guys take a long rest. Raja took the first watch. No, Lash took the first watch.
Correct.
Of I think 2 hours ish. Who's taking the next watch?
I'll go second.
I'll probably take last. I would assume it'll take me a while to wake up.
Yeah.
I think our last one. We'll join you on the last one.
Give me a perception check, please, sir.
Which of us are you speaking to?
Whoever's on the second watch, was it you?
That's me. Have a fat 14.
You look at the area where Dread Tusk is, out there, looking at the entranceway. You see pretty much the same kind of thing as what Lash has seen. There's an obvious entrance and opening. Anywhere else that looks like it might have an access point is a little too difficult to discern here. There's no like obviously open doorways or anything like that. You don't see anybody come or go, but you also notice that there is 2 tents set up outside. What is the time? It is. Where's my pad? The old pad that I can't use at high levels because I can't count well enough. And then we did 2 hours there, and then okay, so it's around 8 when your watch ends, and the scene is no different to what Lash saw, really. Like every now and then, maybe you'll hear the strange skittering of something a little too large, but it's not close. It doesn't try and invade the cavern that you're in. You'll see the wyverns flying around above, but they don't seem to be interested in you or don't spot you. And you don't see anybody or anything interesting happening with Dread Tusk itself. Your watch ends. Us to who do you tag in?
You.
No. Back.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, I'm back.
You're good. Don't worry.
Jesus.
I gave it a second. I waited.
Hello?
We can still.
just-
You stop, but then your audio catches up like a second later.
Oh, you got it all?
You still say, yeah, who's taking the next watch, yeah.
Okay, so who's next?
So
annoying.
I don't think anyone like told me before I went to sleep who was up next. So Raja is just
Randomly
like,
kick somebody.
yeah, he'll walk in and
Elias is still meditating with the Orbigon.
oh, okay. Well then, Walter. Yeah, he'll just walk over and see Walter, his princess outfit or whatever he's wearing, and just and just kick him.
Yeah.
You're up,
Fuck.
and then just goes to sleep.
Walter, give me a perception check, please.
Question. Is this going to affect my exhaustion point? Do I...
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you'll lose it.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was
But
saying.
you're still exhausted now because you haven't had a long rest, right?
Yeah.
So you get disadvantage on this.
Yeah.
Thank you for remembering. See, you know what? You get an inspiration point, Jay. Because this is all I ever ask of players is they remember this bullshit and they never tell me. They just purposefully keep it from me. And they don't expect me to... And I don't remember anything.
Can I trade you that inspiration for that 60? Fuck. I got a 3.
I'm going to say yeah. Because this is an important role. You lose your inspiration point and claim the 16. Fine. It's fine. The
Gone as it was.
for the majority of your watch, it's a similar situation. There's maybe a moment where you hear a skitter of something horrible with too many legs nearby, but it doesn't seem to come for you. It doesn't seem to affect you. It just moves around you. Other than that, it's pretty boring. The sun begins to set during your watch, and at the end of it, the sun will have set almost completely. You notice that the wyverns disappear and head into these holes and areas that you can see, these kind of nests around the canyon. None settle directly above you or anything terrifying. However, at the entranceway to Dread Tusk, you see two figures head out. Give me 2 nature checks.
Two nature checks.
Because you're pretty far. You're pretty far away to be able to. You wouldn't be able to see like the pores on their skin. But
Question: is this
Yep.
at the very end of our long rest here? Or are we still going through it?
you're still technically in it.
All right. Nature. Disadvantage. Nature. Disadvantage. 4 and a 9.
One is small. One is taller. One heads to one tent. One heads to the other. A few moments later, one comes back out and lights a very small fire.
Okay.
You see the other one, the smaller one, come out a few moments later, and for the probably maybe the last final 45 minutes or so of your watch, they seem to be sat around this campfire.
Okay.
At the end of your watch, they put the fire out and go into their tents separately.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna call to the group. Guys, everyone. Hello?
Whoa.
There's people.
What?
What do you want?
People?
Yeah, in the tents.
You are
Down the tent
muted.
We're in a cave.
These are the 2 tents right outside the front door. Yeah.
They're out the front of like Dread Tusk.
Yeah,
They're like
yeah.
on this thing here. They're like down here somewhere, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Right by the front. They
Big
This-
people, little people, one
Yeah,
people.
one
How many
small-
people?
One small, one tall. I couldn't get a good look. But
Wait, tall? How big? Did he have a big sword? Was it on fire?
No. But there was a fire. They lit a fire. They've just went into their tents.
Oh.
Quiet down, guys.
We can.
Let's go take a look, see, shall we?
Yeah, we better.
The
Were they armed?
I couldn't tell. But they're both in each separate tent. So
Well, how long ago did they go in? Like, could they be
2
sleeping?
minutes.
Oh. Well, should we wait or should we?
We can set
Keep
up and then
going.
wait.
Well, didn't you say there was something about dragoons patrolling?
No, I asked about it, but she said no.
Oh,
Did,
well, then I don't know.
did you get a good look at them? Were they wearing armor?
Did I, Brad? No, just silhouettes.
Okay, well, there's only 2 of them.
Hmm.
You didn't see anyone else?
Nobody.
Well, let's go pay them a little visit and see who's trespassing on our territory, shall we?
I think we're actually on theirs.
Well, it's ours now.
I have a Tolwa. It's my territory.
Yeah, okay, it's ours.
Rush is gonna just start walking out there and say, Lash, with me, let's go.
Oh, should we
As
The
far
rest
as
of
it-
you-
should we go with
As-
you?
You guys come too, but maybe hang a little further back so you don't accidentally wake them up.
I'll follow and
Roger
step.
walks past. I'm just gonna like shoot a look over to Walter and be like, "You may have a tall war, but I got many guns.
Yeah, but those are really loud.
Yeah, it'll definitely put us in like ownership position. Intimidating.
Yeah, I don't really want to do like a turf war over like an old temple here, guys.
We really don't need to make it violent. We just need to go see if it's maybe it's not coincidence that they're here. Maybe they're looking for us.
All right.
Anyway, if all else fails, just chuck a fireball over there. I'll be fine. And that's what it just
Tents are
starts.
pretty flammable.
It
All right,
starts.
you guys are
Oh,
doing
whatever.
the head
Before we go
over,
down.
yeah?
Are
Yeah.
we We're at a long rest. We get everything back now. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
have
I
all
got
your
it.
long rest stuff now. This is the end of your long rest.
Does that include hit dice?
You get half of your hit die back, and you get all of your HP and I think all your spells back. Yeah.
Half of the hit dice that are missing.
Half
Half
of the
is
missing ones
horrible.
back.
Gotcha.
It's half. Yeah, like so you have 8, so you get 4.
Yeah, half of your max.
Hey, Walter, I don't suppose you have a spyglass or anything.
I actually have no idea. Hold on. There's a million things in this pack.
Pretty sure no one has a spyglass. They're fucking expensive.
No, I've got some giant
Stuck
toes.
rat ate it.
I got a giant's heart. Oh, that's the wrong bag. Some bed rolls, an iron pot. I have a 10-foot fishing pole if you need one.
No, I need a spyglass to be able to.
We don't need that.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull out the rifle and be like, I need a spyglass to put on top of this to make a scope.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
have no idea
I'm
why I
gonna
would
try
have one
and
of those.
sneak over while they're setting that up.
You too. I'll be in lockstep.
Yeah, so you guys head out of the cave. You spy the area where this camp is. Raja and Lash just skitter off into the darkness like Naruto, arms behind them, into the shadows style. They just vanish. It's very dark out, and those of you with dark sight would be able to see them somewhat a little better. If you don't,
I can't see shit.
it's just you, isn't it? Yeah, they're just gone. You guys begin. You give it a moment. You let them get their thing ahead, and from behind you, very loudly, Walter, Carlias, Arden, you hear Leon say, "Right, I'm back. I'm back."
What? No.
Shut up.
Oh,
Hi, Leon.
What?
Oh,
It's fine.
Sorry.
It's
Volume?
fine. It's fine. I know.
And Carlias has got like an imaginary volume knob. He's like, turn down from 11 to 1.
So if there's only one, which is always me, I can still talk.
But really,
No, that-
quiet.
That's not how that works.
Leon, he doesn't make sense.
Yes, don't worry. There's only 2 or 3 outcomes where you woke up the wyverns and they gobbled us all up. So don't worry about that. I think we're quite fine at this level. Just don't touch that rock. Just points at a random rock. Whatever you do. Anyway,
It's like that Ed and Eddie meme. Don't dig a hole, Ed. It's just like
the old man says, "Oh, those 2 have run off. Have they? Then?"
I'm gonna go check on whoever's down there.
Yeah, there's
Well, I
2 people in a tent.
thought you wanted to know about the wizard.
Who is it?
Oh, well, yeah, we do. Just
Like, went?
wait, you went?
Well, yes.
Where
you
did
went
he?
to see the wizard?
Yes.
Was he a wonderful wizard?
Well, no. Well, he's quite wondrous. Yes.
Where is
Wait,
he?
when you didn't go anywhere though. You said you're back, but you didn't leave.
Well, there was actually one outcome where I didn't go. Yes, I just had a nice sleep.
Where is he then?
Well, what?
The wizard. Where is he?
Well, this time of night, I'd assume in bed.
I am so fucking confused.
It makes perfect
Carlias,
sense.
I have no idea.
Perfect sense.
I'm gonna move over to Leon, and Leon and I can have a discussion.
I'm so
Hey,
fucking bad.
Walter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just gonna rummage through my gear. Help me make a scope. I'm gonna need lenses. I'm gonna need casing. And
You need
trying to
glass?
or something. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you a bottle of ink, 2 cases for maps or scrolls. One of our 5
10-foot
lanterns.
fishing pole.
Oh, sorry, one of our 5 hooded lanterns, and I don't know, anything else that you, that's any, and a hammer.
Brad, can I try and tinker a makeshift scope?
Are you making like a fucking sniper rifle scope?
A scope to be able to help to zoom in.
To go. Oh, are you making like a scope or a thing to go on the fucking
On the gun, yeah.
rifle? Okay. Yeah, give me a tinkerer's check. Fuck it. Why not? And don't fuck it up. You make a scope. The DC was 1. You just grab all these things and go, oh yeah, I remember how to do this. Just put that there, add this, put that, wrap that around that, do this, there we go, that's that. And then you put it on, look through it, and it works.
It's attached to the gun already?
Yeah.
I have string and candle
Fuck
wax
it.
to
It
melt
was
it
so
on if I
easy
need
for you
to.
to do. I should have rolled 2 dice.
Yeah, I'm gonna take up like a laying down sniper position, kind of just zoom in on the camp where they're going, kind of watching behind Raja and Lash, their track.
Leon grabs Arden around the shoulder and kind of leans on you a little and says, "You no, there's one outcome where he shoots Raja in the back of the head. Let's hope that's not today."
I mean, that wouldn't be very good. Raja has thrown a Tolar at me, so I mean, it's kind of like tit for tat, but
You still don't know that.
He says,
somebody threw something at me once, and it was an asshole move.
he says, yes, and there's a very good chance it'll happen again.
Wait, if I ask you a question, could you find out who threw the Tolar at me? You have like 3 questions. One's fine, right?
Well, I suppose yes. It's been so long since I've gone back in time.
Okay, we'll put that on the back burner for now. We'll keep it. We'll work on that.
Right. What? Why are we talking right now?
I don't know. What would you like to
Okay.
talk about? Do you know anything about giant man, big flaming sword? He's really angry.
Well, no, I'm afraid I don't.
Me not. He just likes hitting me with things. Maybe he threw the Tolwar at me. What a
Right.
bastard.
I don't believe I've ever seen. Right. Yes. Well. Yes. Well, it's been a long time since I've been able to discern what's a dream and a divination.
You and me both, brother.
Okay, then. Well, good night.
Good night.
He heads back into the
He's
cave.
going back to sleep. It's the morning, right?
No, it's like 10 p.m. at night. The sun's just set.
Oh.
Oh,
Why are we all awake? Wait, where did the other 2 go?
there.
They've run off. Good point. Through the scope,
I'm just like pointing at
Elias,
them.
you see the Ninja Naruto couple heading towards this area where there's kind of like a makeshift camp. Now that you guys approach and get a little closer,
Do we hear the? What's everybody doing? Shh! Hey, stop! No, hey, what's it? No, shh.
give me perception checks as you run away. You don't. You're concentrating on like listening for other things or making sure that your own feet don't hit the ground too hard. Whereas Lash, you pick up that they seem to be having a discussion for a moment behind you, and then they hush themselves, but you don't really make out anything of what they're saying.
All I do is look back and furrow my brow.
It's like every single step is like carefully measured to make the least possible noise, and then there's just this.
They're back.
Hey guys, what's going on out here? Hey, just in the background.
From in front of you, you see these 2 tents. The front flap of one of them, the closest one to where you are, is open. Though you don't see any body like there. The second one is closed. The second one, I'll call them 1 and 2. One is the one closer to you. In fact, one's large and one's small. The second one, the one a little further away, is much smaller with the flap closed. And you can see the burning embers of a recent campfire just going down. There's a bit of sand kicked over it. And just the remnants of a camp, but it looks like this camp has probably only been here like today, maybe yesterday. It doesn't look like they've been here for very long.
I'm gonna.
Which
Big
one's open? The smaller or the larger one?
The larger one, which is slightly closer to where you guys are.
I think I'll signal to Raja that I'm gonna take a peek in the larger one. I'm gonna point to the larger tent and do like this.
Okay, give me another stealth check now that you're here.
Real quick, are we allowed to move out of the cave as well?
Yeah. You three can head off if you want.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify before anything went down. Like, I'd leave. Like
I kind of think I thought that, but didn't.
Sorry.
Because I know you expressed that you wanted to do that anyway. So you head around the front of the first tent, Lash. But neither of you have dark vision, right?
Right. Well, yeah, I think that is true.
Give me perception checks with disadvantage, both of you, to see.
Whilst they do that, Brad, I just checked the gunslinger for
what
the
are
range
we
of
on
the
now?
bad news. Bad news is pretty much a sniper. Do I just take the range of that?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I did wrong. I don't know if you want me to reroll, but I forgot to click that.
Just roll another one. So 12 and a 23. So the 12 and the 17. As you move around the front of this thing, you can kind of vaguely make out a shape inside. There's a couple of things in there. It's clearly like a sort of large humanoid figure, a big, burly-looking human. And Raja, you notice this as well, but then underfoot, you crunch onto something. You hear a of something underneath one foot. The human inside the tent immediately sits up. Actually, let's see what he sees. He says, Mia, that you? And then you hear the slow unsheath of a sword. What do you guys want to do?
Back away about 5 feet, like around the side of the tent, like not standing right against the tent.
All right, give me another stealth check.
Yeah, I'll try to do the same thing. I'll go to join her, like just move around behind it very quickly.
Okay.
Nice, a nice natural 30. You know, nothing.
Nothing to,
Just a natural 30, yeah.
on our 20-sided die.
Yeah, that's fucking mental. You, Lash just like Raj. You probably don't even notice her move at this point. She's just, and you move very easily and quietly on your little halfling feet around the side of the tent. Raja, you move quite quietly. Are you both heading to the same side, like around the way you came?
Well,
to
if
the
I
one
can't
side
if I can't see her, then I don't know. But like the tent that the dude's in, I'm just moving away from the tent flap to the rear of the tent.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of both do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You do it pretty successfully. Your main reason for success is that the figure inside the tent is now moving out of the tent, and there's the rustle of some of his things as he's moving his body out. As you guys move around to the back of the tent, you see the shape in the darkness of a figure standing up, a sword or a scimitar or something in his hand, as he starts to look around. Mir, you awake? The other tent, you hear some shuffling, and then you hear the voice of a woman say, yes? What's the matter? Is everything okay? He says, thought I heard something. Was it you? No. All right. Stay in the tent. And he does a little once around the camp. And he doesn't see you guys. He looks around, does a few steps about.
Do I see him?
Stands for a moment, and then he heads back into his tent. And you hear his sword resheath, and he lays down. He says, I don't think it was anything. We're all right.
So when
Carlias, the other three give me perception checks as well, just as you approach. And what do you want to do?
Would I have seen anything from when I was scoping in?
Yeah, give me perception checks. You're not running in. You're not with them.
I'm like up on a rock, kind of looking down.
Still back at the cave?
Probably like 15 feet down from the cave.
Okay. Arden, give me a perception check. You guys can.
Do I just roll in normal?
Yeah,
or...
yeah.
I would.
Just,
You want me to roll
step-
mine at disadvantage? I don't have dark vision.
Actually, yeah, no dark vision disadvantage, please.
Extreme.
All good.
How
You all
close are
see
we?
this kind of going down. So it's up to you how you want to proceed, but I assume that you just stop.
How close are we?
I'd say you're still pretty far away. Like you're not. They're like
Okay.
right outside the tent. You guys are
Yeah.
like a good ways away, and there's like plenty of things to hide behind as well.
Jeez.
Like there's rocks and
Okay.
parts of the mountain that you can dip in next to. It's very similar to this in front of you, but the distance is probably a little deceiving from the image.
Okay. I just want to get within 60 feet and hide somewhere. Within 60 feet of both tents, I should say.
I think you can easily do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We'll say that you guys are about 60 feet back, and Carlias is basically back at the cave, which is pretty far.
How
would you far would you say that is?
We'll work it out if you need it. Lash,
Walter,
what
what
did
are
you say
we
you wanted to
doing?
do? Oh, well, yeah.
when I heard him kind of dismiss whatever happened, I would just look at Raja and be bobbing my head back toward the way we came and kind of asking him, with my eyes, like, should we get out of here?
Raja just kind of like looks back towards where we came from, and I don't know if I can see Carlias, but yeah, I know he's watching with his
Doubt it.
guns.
Yeah, I doubt
And
it.
then just kind of looks
Maybe
back.
like the glint of the lens kind of off the
And
moon.
has the little ding like off the scope, and then Raja just kind of looks back at Lash and he wants to go back to the tent.
You want to go around the front again?
Yeah, I'll walk back out there again.
All right, give me a stealth check. Are you doing it as well, Lash, or are you staying there?
How long is this tent, roughly?
Probably not even. Probably like 7
Couple
feet.
Okay, I'm going to go around the side of the tent, so
Alright.
like not quite in front.
Sure. Yeah, you guys do it successfully. You move quietly. The figure inside doesn't seem to notice it. Actually, I would say on that roll, you hear the like heavy breathing, not like snoring, but enough that you'd probably discern that he's fallen quickly into some form of a sleep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna point at the woman's tent instead, and then just kind of like this that way,
I nod.
and I'm gonna just peel back the front cover of her tent.
Are you doing it quietly or
Yeah, I'm being quiet about it.
give me a stealth checker?
Stealth checker.
Back at the rock. Arden, I think you were doing something to Walter.
Yeah, just what are we doing, Walter?
I'm making sure that no one sneaks up on them. I have something I've picked up. Kind of want to.
Should we be sneaky?
Yeah, that's why we're hiding behind the giant rock.
Okay, all right, watch this.
Okay.
Watch me sneak.
No, wait. No.
Yeah!
He's not being sneaky. He like walks out, his armor's clanking, and he's crunching every rock underfoot.
And like pull him. Just
It's okay, we're inside. It muffled sound or
no,
something.
absolutely not. That is not how that works in any way, shape, or form.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
Yeah, no, you're really loud right now.
You look really good in the dress, though.
Thank you.
I just want to say,
So I actually
it's
feel
probably not helping the stealth either.
it's
If we're
it's really
pointing
light,
fingers.
You know,
Okay.
it's silky, so
Uh-huh.
I think it might
Well,
be the metal armor that you're wearing.
It was my work. Of course it's silky.
I'm sure that continues on for a minute or two.
Yeah. Raja and Lash, give me perception checks as Raja starts heading over towards this one tent. You can quite clearly hear like hushed voices. It sounds quite far away, but it's carrying really well. And you probably are relatively aware that it's those guys approaching, or they're nearby, and they're, it's Arden. Yeah. As you open the tent, you do it very quietly, and it's not like a modern day tent with a zip or anything. It just has a couple of clasps, like toggles, and you untoggle one of them very quickly and peer in. Give me a perception check. Disadvantage in the dark.
Just Raja who's peering in, or?
Yeah. Did you creep up as well?
I crept up, but I don't think I'm peering in.
Okay. Yeah. Then you're just.
You have to roll another stealth check to tilt your head.
No. It's just that there's only a little. I feel like you're only making a little crack, right? Or are you busting it open, or?
No, I mean he was pretty much taking back the whole front flap of the tent as quietly as he could.
If it was wide enough, I certainly would be trying.
Yeah. All right, give me a perception check then. I thought you were just like looking in. Yeah. So you take the whole thing up, and you can see inside. Both of you, like Raja, it's not quite as clear to you. Maybe you've got a weird angle here. But there's a very small. You would probably have discerned if you opened it at first, you'd probably think a child, but because you've already heard her speak, you're pretty sure this is probably a halfling. And she's just looking at you, and there's a moment where nothing happens, and then she just lets out a scream.
Can I? I was gonna say, can I? I don't know if I'm able to interrupt before she screams, but just kind of go, "Shh, there's a wyvern."
She screams. Ah! From the other tent, you hear a scrambling. Just, what is it? What is it? The drawn sword of another man that steps out. There's a guy stands up in front of you. He's got kind of robes over him, and he says, "Oi, back off!
Shh, you're gonna wake it up."
Give me a fucking persuasion check.
Oh my god. I'd be joining in the charade too.
Do you just start screaming as well?
Do I get advantage on it if she's helping sell it with the same lie?
I'm gonna say no, because
with that roll.
She only said it when she saw the one. So the guy like thrusts the scimitar out towards your chest. However, as he does so, he says, "Right, hands up. Wait a minute. You Sandwalker."
Raja, like, not only he hasn't put his hands up, he also hasn't bothered drawing his sword yet. He's just kind of like looking at the scimitar being pointed at him and says, "Now, what was your first guess?"
He says, "Eyes ain't so good in the dark." He says, "Mir, it's a Sandwalker." And he says, "See, you got your own halfling." And he puts his sword away. "Good to see you, brother." And you probably, now that he's a lot closer to you, can make out that he's wearing Sandwalker reds as well.
Right.
He says, "Right, what are you worried we're going to wake up?"
Actually, well, that was definitely a lie to calm you down. I was coming over here to see if you were following me.
The woman in the tent is just petrified. She says, "How do you know he hasn't just killed a Sandwalker and taken his robes off?" And the guy says, "Trust me, if there's one thing I can do, it's kill scorpions. If there's another thing I can do, it's insight checks." And he says, "This man is a brother."
What's an insight check?
Dunno, but I got a 20.
Can
Well-
we hear them?
Yeah, I'd say like you definitely hear the scream.
Yeah.
Callias, you are, by the way, 201 feet away.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, can I
And,
see that he's wearing a Sandwalker thing too?
Probably not, because even with dark vision, you can't discern color. But then you hear both of you guys, that Walter and Arden, you hear them start to speak after a little while. The screaming stops, and they just start to seemingly have a conversation.
Yeah, just-
Carlias, you don't really hear any of this, I don't think, very well, but you can see pretty much all of this go down. There's a moment where you probably like hoist up the gun, prepare to have to fire the thing as a figure comes out with a big scimitar and points it at Raja, and then immediately puts it away, and they begin to have a conversation. Do you guys want to?
Yeah, behind the rock. I'm just, can we come out?
Oh, there's more of them, is there? He says to you,
Yeah,
Raja.
I'll just wave them out and say, yeah, no fireballs, no shooting, no nothing, and just
I'll
Walk up
when I see them
and
start to like talk,
for Carlias, give him like a.
I'll come down halfway, but on a rock again, and I'm just gonna kind of scope out the temple and everything.
All right, give me a perception check. It's really difficult to make out in the dark. What's
Carlos
going
has
on?
dark vision.
It's still 9. Let me flavor your roll. Fucking hell. You fucking don't have.
I mean, I could argue
disadvantage.
like, does the scope give advantage or that?
No. Your dark vision gives you a normal roll, not disadvantage. It's hard to make much out in the dark of what's going on. Once these guys start to have a conversation, you see Walter and Arden start to head over as well. From the doorway of the temple itself, you make out a figure, a small shadow that seems to be like kind of peering out from the doorway. After a moment, they disappear. I guess you wouldn't really see much of what's going on with them. You just see a shadow of a figure in the dark, and then they take a moment kind of looking towards the camp area, and then they head back inside the actual entranceway of the temple itself. You staying there?
Cautiously I'll run down, but keeping kind of an eye on the temple.
Sure. Walter and Arden probably start striding over, and the Sandwalker holds out a big hand to you, and he's a very big, burly man. He probably looks a little like your dad did. He's kind of like thick black hair, muscular build, but he's under very similar clothing to you. He has the Sandwalker reds, and they're wrapped all about him, but you can still make out that he's got a very large, thick, muscular body. Just a kind of like wild beard that just looks like he's just never tended to it, and he's quite long down his front, and these big, thick, bushy eyebrows, and the hair, though it's under a robe, you can see that it's pulled into like a very long braid. He's very barbarian, classic barbarian looking, and he holds out a big meaty hand towards you and says, "The name's Graves."
Nice to meet you. I'll give him his handshake, and then say, yeah, we were setting up camp just nearby, and you came and set up shop right next to us, so we got a little suspicious. Came to see what was going on.
Yeah, like that. I thought I heard you. You sneaky pair you are. And he leans down towards you, Lash. Graves.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Lash.
Lash. And he looks at you, Raja.
Raja the Red.
Thought I heard that name before, but I ain't. He looks into the tent and says, "Come on, they're all right." And the woman, the other halfling, heads out. She just looks like she's wearing like standard travel clothes. She doesn't even have like armors on. Though you do notice that she does have a little short sword inside the tent by her bedroll. She's quite like clean looking, considering they compared definitely to Graves, the Sandwalker. And she's got big eyes that kind of look over you with a little hint of fear, hair tied tight, and then she just kind of looks like your typical like Indiana Jones looking figure, traveling clothes, big dusty looking boots, and freckled face. She holds a hand up and says, "Well, my name's Mir."
Raja, a pleasure.
And
A skit?
to
He says a skit to I forgot his name. To Graves.
Graves.
This is a skit, which is like there's slang for a super skittish person who looks like they may run off at the first sign of trouble.
he says, "Well, she ain't done a runner yet." And she turns to you as well, Lash, and says, "My name's Mir."
Hi, Mir. I'm Lash.
And she says, "Well, you coming here to see the temple, Mistra?" She doesn't seem too interested in you, Raja.
Oh,
I think at this point, I'm pretty confused and I don't really know how to respond to her because I'm not sure how truthful we're going to be. So I just expose my wrist tattoo.
Mistra.
Wow, that's quite entrancing. How did you get that? Magic?
Well, I spoke to her one time. She came to me in a vision.
Give me a persuasion check.
While they're having their conversation,
Or
I'm gonna
a-
try and like
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna like take Graves by the shoulder and pull him aside for my own like separate dialogue while they're doing this.
And she kind of like cocks her head sideways and says, "Oh, well, yes, I suppose we all speak to her in our own way." And she says, "Well, I suppose if you're here, maybe I can offer you a drink."
Oh, that would be wonderful.
And she says, "We've got clean water. They have clean water just inside the temple, but if you're after something harder, I suppose you've been walking all day. It's quite the journey, isn't it?
It is rough travel.
Where do you hail from?"
Now, Lash, now I really don't know what to say.
Are we
Um,
there yet?
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably like roll up on Graves and the other one while these two are
Sorry.
talking in the background.
Probably do blur it out.
well, I grew up in Shallow Scar.
And then I'll rush in.
How about you?
I've never been there. I'm from Grindwood. We're almost like sister towns, but on the other sides of the mountain.
Oh.
I
I'll
should
have
make a tunnel or something.
Water, please.
And she reaches down and grabs a very large water skin that looks very full and 2 tin cups and pours you one out. Walter, Arden, you probably head over as Graves and Raja step to one side. Graves sits down beside the camp and starts to try and light. He brings out a flint and steel and says, "Well, might as well get some light, eh?"
Sir beats hanging out in the dark. How'd you end up dragged into bringing someone all the way out here?
Well, we've been on the road for a while. She had another one. Picked her up in the Crimson City. We did a few stop-offs. Normally, you'd go through Fin Dune, you know? They said that it used to have a big old sandwalker place that you could go to, but ain't nothing but dust no more, so it's a fucking bugger of a walk now, innit? I hope these are friends of yours, as you two walk over.
Shit, I was wait, Thin Dune's gone?
Yeah, it vanished, like them old settlements that keep disappearing off the map, freaking the lot of us out.
How long has it been since that's happened?
Well, I don't know, I was just a little boy.
Well, was Thin Dune the last one?
Well, it ain't never happened to a big city again, but I've seen little people say that they've had a few tiny settlements disappear.
Right.
Been
any-
happening forever, isn't it? It's just the way of Dustvale.
Any word
Right.
from the road? Any?
Been a long time. These are my associates, Walter, Arden.
Hi.
Name's
Graves.
Graves. And he lights the campfire and lights up, and you can see a little clearly.
I don't suppose about 30 years ago you had an argument with a Sandwalker about the owner of his chazzy cactus, did you?
That is an oddly specific thing to ask. But no, 30 years ago, I was just a little boy, probably still training. My
No, I
master
wasn't
was an
even born
expert.
yet. It was one of my dad's stories I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah. Where are you from then?
Sin River.
Sim River? Strange. I'd have thought that we would have met if you're from Sim River. I suppose I didn't always spend that much time in the actual town. Who was your
Well,
master?
Well, born there, not necessarily raised there. Kind of bounced all around.
Hmm. Who trained you then?
Would I know any? Would I know any of the like the other teachers and such that would have been known in that area at least back then?
Yeah, you could probably rattle off a name, though they'd be very old now. Razan.
Yeah, I'll throw out an older name and say, old timer named Razan.
Never heard of him. Makes sense, I suppose, if he was one of the more city-based ones. I was pretty much outside of the city after about 3 years old. Didn't go back much, not till I was already trained. My master's dead. Yours?
Pretty sure he must have passed by now. He was already an old man when he was teaching me, and that's back when I was 13.
Yeah, same. Yeah, he was a proper beast. We called him the Animal. His real name, though, it was Wilfred LaFrance. Imagine that. Sounds like a right posh name. Anyway, I saw him take down a Zolom snake by himself once.
Really?
I don't reckon I'd stand a chance against him even now.
I've heard the stories. He's quite the fighter.
Yeah. What about you then? Looks over at Arden. You make water?
What? Oh, no. I am a wandering tailor, as you can see right here. My assistant, Tina.
No, I'm Walter.
Oh my god, yeah, you're dressed like a girl.
Already introduced myself as Walter.
I mean, you don't have to be shy, Tina. It's okay. Being an assistant is wonderful, especially to me.
He's like bright-eyed looking at you, Walter Tina, and he says, "Well then, Tina Walter Tina, lovely to see you. If you would like to have my bed for the evening, then I'm happy to oblige, milady."
Such a gentleman. Such a gentleman.
Don't spend that much time around women.
Clearly.
Yeah, no,
You're
I'm
dressing
Walter.
like you're dressed though, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just no.
Because you have a dress.
I'm a guy. I am a man. Wow, Arden, you're getting really good at makeup.
I mean,
yeah.
I'd like to not put
so much
titles to
offering
things.
Any other
You're Tina.
night
Just
made
dress up like
These
a
two
girl,
are-
I
save the
suppose.
world.
That's fine.
You know,
I ain't got a problem. If you want to dress how
it
you
was-
want to dress,
no,
why
it
would
was-
I have an issue with that?
Listen, we
It's
were
great.
about to
Don't need
sneak in here.
I don't judge.
I'm gonna lean to Graves' ear and just whisper and kind of like gesture towards Walter and say, "This one's confused sometimes."
I can hear you.
Right. That's fair enough.
And I have an actual spell that I could learn called that. All right.
Well, in all fairness, they probably didn't hear me because I'm so stealthy.
You know what? I'm keeping the disguise, not because I like it, but to make a point now.
So
That's it.
why have you set up your camp not here? I mean, the entrance to it's right there.
There were wyverns in the area, and we figured they probably know the usual spots, so we just hit up a spot off the path a little ways.
Oh, all right. Well, you probably should have just popped in and asked them acolytes. There's a couple of them in there. They nothing comes around this place too close.
Right. So
Not
is
the
it
scorpions
common?
neither.
Is it common for people to be making pilgrimages out here?
Yeah, but not as much, you know. Apparently they used to do it all the time.
What's her deal? I'm pointing over towards Mia.
Oh, she's she's a cleric of sorts, I think. She's some sort of priest out of Grindwood, and she's into magic. This is a Mishra temple after all, isn't it?
What? So she
I
just
don't
paid
know.
you. She just paid you to
don't-
get her out here, I guess.
I don't question it. I just stab the things that try and kill us.
Right. Yep. I know that feeling.
The camera pans over to the tent, where probably in the front of the tent, Lash, as a halfling, and another little halfling is sitting with 2 cups of water, and Mir says, "So you studying magic? I take it, or
Oh,
is it a
no,
pious
ma'am.
journey?"
No, I'm just here with my companions.
Oh.
We have a cleric with us.
Oh, really? Oh, I suppose it's that one. She points at
It's
Arden.
the really pretty one out there.
Yes. Well, why is that man wearing a dress?
Oh,
He's taking it off.
Walter.
I mean, it's fair enough if he wants to wear a dress. It's just it seems a little odd to wear it to travel in.
That's kind of a long story. Maybe I won't talk about that. Or I'm being super awkward with her because I'm afraid she's gonna ask me halfling stuff. So stumbling way more than I normally would. So
give me an insight check.
Insight.
Yeah, you can tell she's just starved of conversation because she's probably just been stuck with Graves. She doesn't seem to be like
digging
or interrogating. She's just interested in any old thing. But once you mention that Arden's a cleric, she's kind of looking over there a little more, like she's maybe going to go and speak to him. She says, "Oh, so you don't study in magic or anything? Then you just traveler on the road? What do you do?"
Yeah, the odd job here and there. Walter, he studies magic, and Arden, yeah, he's a cleric, but I just kind of shoot this, and I pull out my sweet song. It's magical.
Oh, it's a very nice looking bow. It's magical, you say? Can I have a look?
Special. Yeah, here you go, and I'll hand it over.
She's gonna take a little look over it. She takes a moment.
You said she was gonna take it, and I was like,
no. She's like looking it over, and she's like,
and she vanishes.
she's kind of like she concentrates on it for a moment, and then hands it back and says, "That's a very interesting bow. It's very deep, enriched magics. Seems quite old."
Well, it must be. Did you ever hear of Gregorin? Well, he's the one that killed the Tethic sandworm all by himself.
Oh, I don't even know what a Tethic sandworm is, though.
Well, that's probably for the best. But boy, he fought it for a full day and night. He was defending a dwarf girl. And anyway, this plays a quiet tune when you pluck it. Want to hear?
Yes.
Dunk. And she hears just a little.
Yeah, it plays a note, and it's quite nice as well. And she's really interested. Oh, wow. Didn't expect that. I really do have to study a little more. The Sandwalker says, "Well, I ain't got any food to cook if you lot are hungry, but I mean, we could have some of what we made earlier on if it's still good. You hungry?"
If I hear him, I'll say, "Oh, I'm hungry," and then I'll say, "Raja, if you can find something," and I'll hold up my bow pretty proudly because I'm now all psyched about my bow again. I could probably shoot it.
Would Carlisle have arrived at this point?
Oh yeah, I forgot you were even walking in. Well, I just imagine you watching them like, I'm gonna get these motherfuckers. Yeah, I'd say you probably like wander over.
Although when Carlisle walks over, he's just gonna immediately be like, "Eyes up, you're being watched."
And Graves again. "This is one of yours, yeah?"
Yeah.
Name's Carlisle. Put out my hands to him.
Graves.
This is the last of our crew. Who's watching us?
Someone
Who's
inside the
watching
temple.
us?
Someone inside the temple.
What'd you see?
I didn't see any details, just the shadow of someone poke out.
Oh yeah, there's people in there, you know. What do you think they do? Just leave it unattended overnight? Or any old bugger to come in, nick a statue or whatever it is that people do when they rob temples?
So it's
just on a little bit of on edge. Hope you understand. Grace.
Yeah, go on in there. They're all right. Couple of blokes.
Do they ever... Have they been acting weird at all, or did any of them strike you as odd?
Let's see how he made them. No. But
No?
one of them's quite old. All he does is bang on about Mistra and the Empress that had a Barney with her before. The younger one's a little bit less annoying, but kind of boring, if you ask me. Neither of them got great stories.
What kind of stories did they told?
Well, the old man bangs on about how Mistra's blood was spilled here or whatever sort of nonsense them lot are into. I ain't too religious. The young one talks about how he came from his town and he wishes he ain't. He's bored out here by himself.
How many times have you been in there?
Well, we've been in there all day, pretty much.
Just the once?
Yeah.
You never did say exactly what you were doing here.
Me?
Well, I suppose you're charged, more or less. What's she doing here?
Well, she's... I don't know. Oi, me! What are you doing here? She says. Oh, what? What do you mean? Why? Why did you come here in the first place? Like, what's the reason and that? Well, hello, everybody. My name's Mir. I've been studying magic after my mother died. She was very interested, and when she was younger, she used to teach me stories of Mistra, and I spent some time after she died with the clerics, and they were telling me more stories. Sort of felt it was right that I come and visit this place and see what it can do for somebody who's not only quite pious and religious, but also very interested in magic. Why not visit and pray at the shrine of Mistra herself, at the very site where it's said that her blood was spilled?
Well, has this shrine of Mistra always been here? Like, would we recognize this as being 30-something years old, or is this just like something that was constructed during the time lapse?
Give me a history check. Everyone can do it if you want.
I do love me some skill checks.
Bruh, 15, 13, 16. And so that's Arden, you can have advantage on this actually, because you probably will have heard these stories. So Walter, you just fucking you know fuck all about Dread Tusk. You just showed up on this journey and joined them, and now you're here.
Yeah, pretty much.
The rest of you are generally quite aware of the history of this place. So taking into account your time jump as well, this temple was constructed, the temple itself was constructed around 150 years ago. So there's that story of the Empress, which is the princess's grandmother, who came here and supposedly had an actual fight, like an actual battle with Mistra, and drew blood from her, like managed to actually strike at a god and genuinely deal damage. It's said that happened roughly around 150 years ago, so it's relatively new. It's within some of your lifetimes, maybe, or fucking close. The site of Dread Tusk itself, none of you know anything about it, why it's here, what it served as before a temple to Mistra, but it looks like a temple anyway. It's definitely older than 150 years, like way older. But yeah, no, not too sure what the actual thing was before, but for about 150 years, the entire time you guys have been alive, I think it's been a temple to Mistra. So yeah, it's just that it seems like it was repurposed, and it's just a site. It's like a mecca that people come to, because if the blood of a god was spilled here, then this is absolutely where they would go to pray. So magicians, like spellcasters, and religious types come here all the time.
And
pretty famous.
Okay, and this is, I guess we don't know the area well enough to know if this is the same place that we have been told that Solomon is hiding out. I guess I'm just like just now becoming aware that there's this giant temple right next to us.
What do you mean? I don't understand the question.
Is this a separate location from where we were supposed to be heading to go?
Oh no, this is absolutely where you want to be going.
Okay, so it's all
as far as you're aware, and as far as Leon and the princess told you, he's legitimately here right now.
Okay, right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was just like, no, this is just the temple, but then behind it is this massive labyrinth thing.
No, it looks like a religious temple, but it's also extremely old. So it doesn't look like pristine. You know, like you see those fucking ancient sites, kind of like that fucking thing behind you. Where the stone is no longer pristine. It's very rounded and weathered from years. It does look like a crumbling ancient monument. Yeah. From the outside, at least.
Gotcha. I forget what the last thing was that she said to me, though, now that all those questions have been answered.
She just said that she's not only religious, but she's a caster, so it made sense to come here.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I guess you're probably in the right spot then.
Well, I didn't have much else to do.
Well,
Considering the world's destroyed.
I guess there's not really much else for us to do here. We wanted to come make sure everything was okay over here, I guess, and also recommend maybe stick a little closer to the rocks because there have been wyverns up and about.
Graves is poking at the fire. He says, yeah, they said that nothing comes near or in. You know, people can and do. But apparently the wyverns don't ever land on the temple. None of the scorpions or spiders come wandering over too close.
Interesting.
The littler form of Mir says, if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak to your cleric. To you, Lash.
Oh, yeah, he's the pretty one.
She takes a few steps over towards you, Arden, and says, hello. Are you a cleric of Mistra?
Well, I'm a cleric, yes.
Oh, well, if you'd like, I can escort you inside. I'd like to show you some of the things in there.
Okay.
Arden, and she takes you by the arm and says, so where do you hail from?
Well, I mean, like originally or like currently or...
Well, I suppose both.
Well, currently right here. It's been a while since I've talked to someone else besides these people. I mean,
charisma check.
Yeah, he's not even insight checking her.
I just want to see how much she finds this funny. Not at all. She says, "Oh, where were you born then?"
Well, a little place called Clear Peaks. It's kind of a distance.
Yes, I've heard of it. I've never been. It's supposedly quite beautiful, isn't it? Run by mostly elves.
Okay, I'm going to insight check her because he doesn't actually know what's going on with Clear Peaks at this point.
Okay. Clear Peaks is a very elven town, by the way. It's like the most elven place.
Yeah, I'll try and bullshit it.
Continent.
I got kicked out of Clear Peaks. Oh, I've left Clear Peaks pretty early.
Yeah, she just seems to be genuinely interested. She legitimately doesn't seem to be angling anything. She's just making small talk as she links arms with you and then begins to walk towards the entrance of the temple. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll relate what little I do remember.
It's been a long time since I've been there.
She points up to the steps that lead up to the main entranceway. Give me a perception check.
Yeah, I was wondering when that was gonna happen.
A wyvern bites you in the face.
Does he have a giant flaming sword?
No.
Okay, then I'm not worried about it.
As you approach the steps that lead up to the entranceway, You can see from the inside a little glow of some light. It's not a huge amount of light. It's maybe a handful of candles or something that's providing a little illumination, but there's some light inside. And she says, "Oh well, even if you don't pray to Mistra, she is still a god of magic, so it's always useful for a cleric to visit these places and pray, I suppose."
Of course. I mean, who would possibly ever lose their way to their god? I mean, we're clerics, we get our power from the gods, right?
Yes.
If you felt you ever lost your way, besides going on this pilgrimage with the big muscly dude,
Yes.
hypothetically, what would you do?
Oh, well, I suppose I could pray to some of the gods. Perhaps Selune, a goddess of navigation, or, well, I feel I had lost my way before I even made this trip, and I truly believe I've learned so much on this trip. Even from graves, I've learned how to fend for myself somewhat. Out here in the sands, I was quite a little city brat. I was brought up in money, and never really had to do much for myself until my mother's untimely passing. And look at this. And as you take a few steps up, you see the opening now, and it's a little easier to see. There's like a few alcoves, and it's like there's a little tiny corridor and hallway that's like kind of external and covered, that leads into an area where it looks like there's probably a door or something that can close, but there's nothing really obvious from where you are. As you look in, you can see a dimly lit area inside the sort of like a rounded domed room, very large, old looking. You can see a bunch of things on the walls. It looks like scripture, very religious looking, relatively new looking as well, definitely a lot nicer than the outside. You can see probably the edges of a couple of very large looking, intricately carved statues, and they're holding like a bunch of candles. They're very large, and they're holding a multitude of candles each, which seems to be providing the light in the room. And the main thing that you'll notice, and the thing that Mir is pointing at, is that there's a fountain, which you've probably never seen. I don't think there's ever been one in Dustvale, for the record. It looks kind of just very circular, like a well, very large, kind of squat. But there are these very small-looking cherubs. 4, each one is a different race. There's a halfling, a human, an elf, and one of them is an orc. And these little cherubs are just, with their mouths open, pouring water, one above the other. And the water is just pouring down, and there's a trickle of water that you can hear. You see a figure move around the back of the fountain. He's not like a creepy, horrible little, not like a vampire. He just looks like a man in some robes. And she points it and says, "Isn't it wonderful? It's amazing. Come, I'll show you it much closer. It's clean too. You can drink it."
Sure.
He's stepping in.
Yeah.
To the temple. Arden steps in to Dread Tusk, and that's where we end today's session.
Oh.
Fucking God. God damn it.
I think it's so
was
scary when a DM asks you questions. Even
I was
if they
expecting
seem...
it. Like, I was just like, what's
When
gonna
she
happen?
linked
What's
his
gonna
arm.
happen?
Yeah, I was like,
She was like, you can drink it. I was like, oh, we're fucked.
Yeah.
We're fucking
Well,
dead.
yeah. Arden's
Fucking
too
dead.
stupid to not.
I love it.
Yeah, of all the
Well,
people
it's
to
the
be
fact that
cleric.
he went in, like as soon as she grabbed his arm, I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, man.
Yeah, let me draw you away from the party. Blah 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 blah. And like Arden's like, yeah, sure, man.
Sure, let's talk about me.
I love leaving everyone.
And then it's like, oh yeah, I came from money. Oh, I'm relatively naive. And it's like his old like con days are coming back. Like,
Who's gonna con this? Man?
gonna con her how to teach me how to make water.
Yes.
I'm naive and rich and defenseless, and
Yeah.
won't you be my friend?
Yeah.
Right.
Arden's too stupid to resist that.
Well, let's find out next time precisely what is going on. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they won't precisely find out. Maybe they'll just not find out. We'll find out whether they find anything out next time. Table Stories, Dustfell, thank you and good night. Thanks for playing, players. And thanks for watching, watchers. Officially, one
Thanks for
step
the
has been
session.
taken into Dread Tusk. Jesus.
One step.
One
It took
step.
us 4 hours to make one step. I like it.
Yeah.
Proud of you guys.
Mhm.
Do you remember when I was like, to predict maybe it's going to take you like 3,
I was thinking of
4
that.
episodes? It's going to take 8, 9.
I fucking told you.
Yeah. I'm prepared for it. I don't care how long it takes, really. So let's do a very brief round of shout outs and then we'll reconvene next time. Let's start with Carlias, the brand new sniper. I'm glad you made a thing for that sniper rifle. Like, I don't know how much use you'll get out of it in a fucking temple thing, but it's still,
But it's cool.
but it's cool.
I
Yeah,
guess
I'm
it-
glad that you have a
Power
sniper
points.
rifle. Like, that was honestly the main reason I had him have that as the option to win in that duel. I just wanted you to have a sniper rifle. I don't know why. I was like, I just want him to have a sniper rifle just because I thought it'd be cool. Doesn't
Who
matter
knows,
what.
maybe,
Doesn't matter when you use it, right? It'd be fucking cool as shit. So
Maybe Carlias will use one of his trick shots to be able to use
Yeah,
it.
do a 360 before you shoot
360
something.
nose
Ladder?
And yeah, you have to point blank like hip fire at a zombie or something and just take its head off.
you
Yeah,
got
I need to find
handful
out
of
Ladder
episodes left.
stalls?
Do they have air horns in Dustvale? Like,
We'll find out if you ever
Do
pull
they
off that
have
360
Doritos?
no scope.
The question is are you going to be able to invert your entire body and like with
Yeah,
the
can
air
you do
horn
the-
going off?
Wait, can he call in a UAV if he gets a couple kills in a row? That would be,
what
like,
if we got a
really useful.
collateral headshot at the same time?
If we're
Then you'll
hunting
be- then you'll
undead,
be able to summon.
Yeah,
an
you are the
AC-130.
UAV.
I'm already the UAV if there's undead, so I can sense them a mile
Raja
away.
inbound.
Yeah, AC-130 inbound.
It just shoots
Okay.
Rajas holding Tell Wars.
He's up there flying.
Connor, where can people find you?
You can find
In
me
the week.
twitch.tv/Conachronus from 3 p.m. Eastern onwards. A lot of RP, a lot of story-driven games and such like that. Mostly people come and tell me that I sound like Patrick Warburton. So
There you go. Go and
I
do it
don't,
more.
I really don't see the similarities or anything like that. But
Connor's
Apparently.
not like me. Keep telling him he sounds like the same thing over and over again. He'll
no,
love it.
stop! For the past month, I just keep reverting into Patrick all the time. It's like
Never.
if I was to
stop
do
doing
this
it.
as a job, like be a voice match for him, sure, I wouldn't mind.
Never stop telling him these things. Ms. Tuesday Gray.
You dudes, you can find me in all of the places at /Tuesday Gray. I sometimes do stuff and things when I'm not here flying and being invisible and shooting my sweet bow.
Oh yeah, you can fly.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go, Ms. Tuesday Gray. Who else we got? Mr. HJ Tenchi.
Hello. D&D Monday, or D&D on Wednesdays and Monday through Saturday video games. So, yeah, there you go.
Bam.
Bam.
Mr. HJ Tenchi.
Was probably gonna die.
He's
At least in
probably
D&D.
gonna die.
Man,
But
I'll probably
hey,
die one day.
At least you got a magical
Probably.
ring.
Yeah, thunder damage.
And Mr. Fairlight Excalibur Raja.
Hi, I'm Fairlight Excalibur. You can find me on that username on Twitch pretty much every day except Wednesdays, where I occasionally finish D&D and then pass out,
Which is definitely going to happen today.
which is definitely happening today.
And then last but not least, Mr. Bro Tapes.
Go follow Tablestory first off. There's a lot of new people in the show today, so make sure you guys go follow Tablestory, which is where Dustvale will be, my new campaign will be, and our new Friday show will be. And if you guys are looking for E3 coverage next week, whenever the fuck it is, on the
weeks.
9th, we're going to be streaming E3 for the entirety of it, and we'll be live tweeting it and everything. So it's a huge event on my channel every year, so I'm so excited for E3.
Very
I-
nice.
I ignore it every year.
Do you?
And you would
Dude,
think,
I
you would
love it,
think, as
man.
someone who works in the industry, I should probably be paying attention.
I
But
love it.
No, I do that as well. I don't give a shit until the game lands in my lap. I don't care about E3 and stuff. Like when E3's on and then like everyone's tweeting like a trailer and I'm like, if that's the trailer I want to see, I'll click it. But I don't do the watch E3 thing.
it's more like, is that a
Um,
trailer with actual gameplay footage and features, or is this just another cinematic?
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my
We'll see.
E3 experience is tweeting out E3.
Yeah.
It's a
Which
live
is like,
tweet.
I get it. It's fun when everyone's doing it, right? For the whole day and everyone's like live tweeting all their reactions and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh crap!
Um,
I'm going to E3 after all. Sorry, I
There we
gotta
go.
answer
Oh, nice.
this.
There we go.
I'll be there too.
So,
Can't ignore it now.
so in 2 weeks there will be some sort of weird one shot where we flash forward into a ruined world. I've done that before. I'm not going to do it again. So, yeah, make sure that you follow Tablestory both on YouTube and Twitch, and at a Tablestory on Twitter. And we also have a Discord with even more information. All of those links can be found generally around, either in the chat when we're live or in the descriptions of the YouTubes, which will all be updated soon, by the way, before you fucking send me another message. You didn't update the 380 fucking videos. No, I haven't yet. All right, I've got other shit to do. Okay? Jesus Christ, give us a fucking chance. But seriously, thank you very much for following. I love you all. So yeah, we got a bunch of stuff that has started over there. If you're interested in getting in on like episode 1 of something, we have Warped this weekend, which is starting. They did the episode 0, which was character creation, but their episode 1 starts on Saturday this week at 2 p.m. EDT, 7 BST. So that's always a good one to shout out, because it's nice to fucking jump in on episode 1 and not be like, oh man, they're like 10 episodes in or 38, 39 episodes in, which I think what this one is.
That's on the Tablestory Twitch channel.
And that is on twitch.tv/Tablestory, along with all of our other shows. We have a bunch of new shit coming, and a big, exciting announcement on Friday for Neon Scream's finale. So check that one out as well.
God. Yeah, that's
So-
fuck.
Basically,
Oh.
the true Tablestory truly begins this week. So thanks for joining us on this journey on my channel, but basically move over to Tablestory, because that's where all of the real shit's going down from now on. It's where my campaign, which follows this, will be afterwards as well. So if you're not following that, you'll miss the episode 1, and there's nothing worse than missing episode 1 when you can watch it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, and we'll find out what horrific things are about to happen to Arden's face. See you in 1 week.
God. Bye.
Goodbye.
Arden's not going to be beautiful
Bye.
anymore.
It's like shooting a fish and a bear.